Please remain in your seats until SportsCenter has come to a complete stop. The Panthers and Penguins are on the way. Beezer and Mario set to get it on. Game 7 just 2 minutes away.
This is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, known as the home of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. This is the Igloo. It's in his neighborhood. And tonight, a lot of Mr. Rogers' neighbors are on hand. Why? It's Game 7. Game 7. At long last, the point of no return. For some, it is the dream of a lifetime. For others, a nightmare come true. A thrill ride that will take you to hell and back again. By game's end, there will be a winner, a loser, a hero, and a villain. But most importantly is what won't be. For one of these two teams, there will be no tomorrow. It is the kind of game where those who are superstars are even more so. The Lowrys of the world become heroes, and great goaltenders like Barrasso and John Van Beesbrook get to shine yet one more time. All of them and so much more tonight. A packed house at the Igloo in Pittsburgh. Welcome, everybody. This is Game 7. The Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins to determine the Eastern Conference champion and who faces Colorado. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome. Delighted to have you with us here tonight. For just the second time this season and only the 86th time in the history of Game 7s in the National Hockey League, there will be a Game 7 here tonight. There will be a winner and a loser. Pittsburgh heavily favored throughout this season in many games. Probably still a favorite tonight, Bill Clement. But the Panthers have put on a great playoff run.
They sure have, Gary. And for anybody watching this game tonight that's ever thought of attempting to be a color analyst, this would be your night, because you don't have to be an expert to sit here and say what I'm going to say. If you wanted to handicap this Game 7, all you'd have to do, take your favorite coin, flip it as high as you'd want. It wouldn't matter how it landed. This is a 50-50 game. There is no favorite. But there are some things that have to happen for one or the other to win. From a Pittsburgh Penguins standpoint, the big question surrounds Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. Can the dynamic duo generate offense? Regular season, 62 for Jagr, 69 for Mario Lemieux. 15 combined in the second round against the New York Rangers. Against the Panthers, 1 goal each. That is it. In the last 4 games, Jagr has not scored. Mario Lemieux has not scored. You know the Panthers are going to try to continually smother Lemieux and Jagr. But the big question mark for the Penguins, if they want to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, is right there. Can Jagr and Lemieux get it done?
We have said for years and years in the Stanley Cup playoffs, defense, defense, defense. Brian Engblom.
Well, Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr scored 15 of their team's 21 goals against the New York Rangers last series. That's a staggering 71%. Ranger coach Colin Campbell said, you got to give credit to the 2 best players in the world, and good luck to the team that plays them next. In this series, they've scored 2 goals, and they've been shut out the last 4 consecutive games. Is that luck? I don't think so. The Florida Panthers have played some great defense. They play a containment game, and they never give up. And for their forwards, it's never too late to back check. We'll see if they can do it one more time. Darren Pang.
Well, Brian, the fact of the matter, too, is when they get by that very stingy Florida defense, they've got to face red-hot John Van Beesbrook. The ultimate compliment to any goaltender is his efforts around the net have been effortless. He's moving with very much ease. The one thing the Pittsburgh Penguins want to do, though, is go high under the crossbar on the glove side of John Van Beesbrook. The other side of the ice, Tom Barrasso, he has obviously been brilliant. But the Florida Panthers want to keep it away from his catching mitt so they can generate some rebounds on big Tom Barrasso. Gary?
You can hear the crowd. They are ready to rock here at the Igloo tonight. Jammed in to see their pens. And a lot of Florida fans on here as well. Sit back, relax, get ready. Game 7, everybody. Benny Johnston holds true. In the chase for the cup tonight, he will reunite Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux in the same line for much of this game. Ed Jovanovski, one of the youngsters, and Niedermeyer need to produce tonight.
Go crazy. One time. The celebration begins.
When there's pandemonium, you're going crazy.
This place is special. Come on, baby.
All right,
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup Playoffs is brought to you by MasterCard, the official card of the NHL, and by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
And welcome. We'll get you out to Game 7 in just a moment. John Saunders and Barry Melrose. You expected defensive battle in this one because the Panthers have done such a great job defensively. Consider this. Two of the best players in the game, Lemieux and Jagr, have combined for 2 goals. Mario says it's the best defense he's ever played against.
Defensively, they're the best team I ever played against. In this, in a 7-game series, not being able to get more than 2 points a game is a rarity for me. But they're a great team defensively, and they got a great goaltender.
So, Barry, if you're coaching these 2 great players, what do you tell them to get them going?
Well, you got to challenge them. Those are guys that are going to follow everybody else. They're going to lead you. You got to challenge Mary. You got to challenge Jagr. We're not going to win without these guys, so they got to play.
All right, we will see you between periods. We, of course, will take a look at the Colorado Avalanche. They're already in. The winner of this one is in as well. Gary and Bill.
John, thanks very much, and welcome, everybody. You can feel the great Game 7 tension here and passion of this Pittsburgh crowd. And as we said, a lot of Florida fans are on hand here for this game. There is Mario Lemieux. As we told you at the start, no goals last 4 games. When Lemieux and Jagr have played together, that has never happened before.
And what all these fans in this building are thinking tonight, can the Florida Panthers possibly do it again to Jagr and Lemieux?
Yes. Yes, they can. The other side of that, of course, is you have a superstar in a superstar situation. The chance to rise to one of those great occasions. And we're ready to go. Nedved is out there on the first line for Pittsburgh. Face-off won by Niedermayer. At center there, Niedermayer sent it in for Martin Straka. Bounced away to the point, and we'll get an early whistle on this one. We'll tell you our officials are Don Koharski, the referee. Kevin Collins, Gerard Gauthier are the linesmen. There you see Don Koharski, a veteran of some 996 NHL games referee.
Doug McLean said the one thing he wants to do in this Game 7 is dictate. He does not want to play catch-up hockey. The lead is important, although it's not crucial. But he wants to make sure the Pittsburgh Penguins know they are going after the win immediately and not trying to play maintenance hockey, just eliminating Lemieux and Jagr. They want to go after the Penguins.
Nedved again will move in against Niedermayer on the face-off. Nedved won it back to the point. Shot on Van Beesbrook will make the easy save on Chris Taber's shot from the point for the first shot of the game. John Van Beesbrook making the start in net, 32 years old. Came into this season not having won a playoff game against Pittsburgh. 0-5. He's won 3 this year in the playoffs.
There is no reason to think that John Van Beesbrook is going to do anything in this game other than underreact. He is a classic underreactor, really conserves his energy, and has made countless number of tremendous saves. If he is the first start tonight, the Panthers can advance.
We'll show you Tom Barrasso in a moment. Zubov dumped it back into the corner. Cleared back up to him by Nedved. Zubov moving in, is open, takes the shot off Van Beesbrook's right shoulder. Back to Tamer, his shot is wide. Rebound kick by Svele into the corner, not out through Tamer, who knocked it down and gunned it back in. Carkner clears the zone. Tipped ahead by Straka. We'll get our first changes right here. Tamer going back, touched it up to the near side, jammed up by Nedved and out of the zone. Florida Panthers making changes, will regroup here at center. Gordon Murphy sends it in. Tom Barrasso looking to help, tried to hit Miller off at center ice. It is knocked away at center. The jam up there. Garfinlov sent it back in. Zubov got tied up back there. In the middle, shot. Save made by Van Beesbrook. First real good chance. Garfinlov had it in the middle. Garfinlov heads to the net. Murphy shot deflected wide. But Garfinlov was all alone in front of that last chance. Bill Lindsay. Lindsay tied up by Tamer. Puck against the boards. Big hit put on. Lauer came over and put a check on from behind. Cleared up near side. Rolled back to center. Fitzgerald back to get it. This line can cause some havoc that's out there right now. Fitzgerald, Lindsay, and Garfinlov. They are all good, solid players, all of whom have an offensive touch. They're back up to the near side, point and out of the zone. Svele just come onto the ice, couldn't hold it in. Florida's going to clear, and they want to change anyway.
And that line that you just mentioned, Gary, can beat you up with their work ethic. Just an incredible pass from Billy Lindsay to Garfinlov that generated the big shot.
He was all alone in that slot area. Knocked down by Jagr. Got to wait for Mario Lemieux. Cleared out of the zone. Rochereuther was in there. Dropped back on the near side. Eddie Johnston says he wants to get Lemieux and Jagr together tonight at times. We'll see how often it happens. Lemieux just went to the bench, does not stay up. Smolinski, Jagr, and Dave Roach are out there right now. This is Roach on the near side. Had it jammed away from him by Barnes. Picked back up by Jagr. Jagr dropped it off wide side. Smolinski bounced on him. Spela puts the hit on him. Roach in behind the net. Cleared to the near side boards. And the Panthers will get it out of there. The pass by Lowry did not connect. An icing call coming on the touch at the other end. Tom Barrasso in net. His goals against average in the playoffs, a little out of the top 5, but his save percentage is 4th best.
Just sensational. The Panthers think there are some weaknesses, though. Sharp angle shot, short side. They think he goes down prematurely. They might wait on him a little bit. They don't want to allow him to grab it with his glove hand. He has a tremendous glove hand. They want to generate rebounds, as Darren Pang pointed out, by staying away from the glove hand. And Eddie Johnston said about Game 6, he said, you know what? We did not deserve to win. We played in spurts. If you've watched hockey long enough, you know this team can win playing in spurts in the regular season. Can't do it in the playoffs.
And Eddie Johnson had an interesting comment. See if it affects the game tonight. He said, and I quote him, "Nobody has screamed louder about the officiating than us," meaning the Pittsburgh Penguins. He said, "We are the holding, clutching, grabbing that has slowed us down. We've complained about it. Will it have an impact in tonight's game?" Davidovsky went down and blocked that one. Cleared back out to center. I don't mean that an official obviously is going to listen to a coach, but the kind of thing has a trickle-down effect, if you will, sometimes, and they may watch a little more closely because a coach or player is complaining about it. Cleared back through the middle by Huff. Brought in by Skrudland. Drops it off. Back for Skrudland from Straka. Poked away by Barrasso. Tried to get it in front. Hit the side of the net. Good opportunity down low for Paul Laws. Laws came in from that right point and jammed that off the side of the net, but he had no angle. That's Laws right there, a defenseman. Dumps it back into the corner. Both teams changing on the fly. Tom Barrasso high off the board. Mellenby got a piece but could not control. Tomas Sandstrom sent it out through the middle. Breaking back in Mario Lemieux. The shot. Slam Van Beesbrook. Lemieux had just come off the bench and got ahead of everybody at the blue line. Opens up. Martin Straka moving it in. Straka had it taken away. Jaromir Jagr. He's out there with Lemieux now. Lemieux poking it down the boards. Lemieux moving it in. Lemieux looking for Jagr, cutting, sent it right through the top of the crease. Mellenby over there to plant. Far side Niedermeyer. Brad Lauer, they hit on Niedermeyer, sent it across ice. Shots are 4-3. Panthers with the advantage. No score. First period of this game 7. Shot around the boards by Murphy on the far side. Alex Stoyanov held it in. Jaromir Jagr saved by Van Beesbrook. Jagr got the backhand chance on the wraparound. Sent back in behind the net. Stoyanov in the near side corner waiting. Puck bounces off him. Fans rocking here as the action is very intense.
Incredible scoring chances. Wonderful saves at both ends. Shots already. Why should this game be any different than any other game in the series?
Just let her rip, folks. Sent back in behind the net. Stoyanov going back to get it. Spela over against him. Stoyanov came away with it. Had it poke checked away by Fitzgerald to Garpenlov. Garpenlov will clear it out of the zone. 7D going for Florida in this game. They'll be rolling over the 3 lines and the 2 extra forwards tonight. Sent back through center. Penguins coming back to get it. We played 4.5 here in this first period. Miller on the far side. Fitzgerald in the collision with Smolinski. Rolled into Garpenlov, who dumps it into the corner. Roach will come back to get it. Lowry leads the Panthers scoring in this series with 3 goals and 4 assists, while Mario Lemieux with a goal and 5 assists in this series leads Pittsburgh. It has been the D of Florida that has made the difference here in this series. Bumped away at center. Both teams are changing behind the play. Bill Lindsay brings it in. Lindsay the shot. Save made Barrasso. Short side post. Barrasso looking. Another change taking place. Tried to find some folks, but the Pens were changing as well as he twice now is trying to dump it through the middle.
But when Tom Barrasso is on top of his game like that, that is when the Panthers have to be careful with their changes because Tommy Barrasso can burn you.
Net fed the shot and the intercept. And it's held on to by Van Beesbrook. Standing ovation by the Pittsburgh fans early on. Both these teams off to a great start. A city with great sports history like Lemieux and Clemente and Stargell all on the building in downtown Pittsburgh.
Well, if you're looking for a positive sign from a Pittsburgh Penguins standpoint, there is a little bit of room. There is a seam. You just have to find it. Lemieux found it. Van Beesbroek stopped him. And then Eddie Johnston did get Lemieux and Yager out there together. Yager in a backhand chance. John Van Beesbroek was able to make the save on it. Jaromir Jagr said, you know what? I don't know what it is. Maybe I've lost a little bit of confidence. This is a tough time of year to be in a confidence crisis.
As Eddie Johnston pointed out this morning, he said, we've had chances. He said, not to be forgotten, Lemieux and Jagr have had chances in these series, including at the end of that last game. They just have not been able to convert, and a lot of that is because the Panthers have been right there in the jerseys with them. That's a delayed offside call. Face-off will come back out to center. Shots are even at 5 right now. And our Bud Ice Stanley Cup Sunbird looks like this. Joe Sakic, 5 game-winning goals, tying the record. Bossy, Curry, Smith, and Mario Lemieux are tied with him in that department. The Red Wings, the first team since the 61-62 Canadiens to win back-to-back regular season titles, but not win the cup.
You know, as an ex-player, I'm already feeling sad for one of these teams. Magnificent performances by the Penguins and the Panthers, but this is the playoffs. You survive or you are erased.
Only one's going to move on. Dumped back into the middle by Brett Warner, the young rookie, as Lemieux and Jagr again come out to play together on the same line. Lauer's been on the other side. Tamer from behind the net. Tamer drops it near side for Jagr. Zubov is out there. Zubov has been playing an enormous number of minutes here in this series. He is their steady go-to guy now on D, and really noted as being an offensive defenseman as well. Lemieux drops it back in his own end. Garpenlov on the forecheck. Garpenlov deep in the zone, still is. So they had to hold it out, and it'll be jumped around the board there by Strudlin as he had to wait a long time for him to clear. Tamer had time to get back to get it and clears it out of there. Teams going at it for this conference title. Pittsburgh finished second in the East. Florida finished 4th in the East. So 2 and 4 in the Eastern Conference. One of the two going to go to Colorado. Jammed off the near side boards. J.J. Daniel was there to knock it down. Sent back in Jagr to Lemieux. Lemieux on the forehand will ship it behind the net. Jagr heads out in front. Roche couldn't get it behind the net. Played back up by Mike Huff. Huff starts it out for the Panthers. Maybe now better known as the Rat Pack. Sent back into the corner. Daniel going back to get it. Huff puts the hit on. Zubov clears it around the near side. 13-11 to go in the first. Jovanovski's shot was blocked out deep along the line. Miller able to sweep it out. Smolinski will give chase, but Paul Laws is in front of him. Laws back to get it. Played back up and out of the zone by Dave Lowry. Line change being completed behind the play right now by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hit put on by Miller on the near side on Lowry. Dug out of there by Dietzick, who had it momentarily, lost it. Jovanovski was there and gets it back. Florida will get it up ice near side Lowry. Lowry moving it in. Moranov had moved into the corner. Jammed up off the near side towards Moranov, who clears it up and out to Miller. Miller looking up ahead. The D always back for the Panthers. Jovanovski went back to get it. Laws has got it. Laws sends it ahead. Knocked up in the air and on the wide side corner. That's while LaRue was the one who initially hit that and deflected it. LaRue's still there waiting. Barnes had snuck in behind him and chipped it away. Laws intercepts. Pittsburgh was trying to get a change going, but their D were still back, so they weren't caught. Florida from their own blue line. Jovanovski sends it in. If there's been any difference in this series for these two teams, it's that Pittsburgh's power play, though not as effective as in the regular season, has been able to get them some important goals. Well, the Panthers want to stay out of that penalty box. At even strength, they have been the better team. Set back behind the net for Tamer. Tamer hit by Mellenby, pushed it away to the corner. Nedved coming over to get it. Nedved dropped it out through the middle, unable to connect at center ice. Glenn Murray was cutting. He had 2 back there, including Parkman. Set back in the right side, Garpenlov again. Garpenlov dropped it. Svegel's shot. He got tied up from behind. 2-on-1 chance the other way. Pittsburgh coming. Panthers trying to get back. Mario Lemieux. Lemieux tried to drop it off. Cartner blocked it. Terry Cartner broke up a 2-on-1.
What a play by Cartner. It was a little floating pass, and all Cartner did was butt it into the air. Perhaps it was just a little too slow. Great play by Cartner.
Another chance that didn't happen. Terry Cartner getting it done defensively. The only one back with Lemieux leading the charge, and here he comes again. This time it's a 2-on-3. Jaromir Jagr. Jagr with Lemieux. Sends it into the middle of the trailer. Shot saved Van Beesbroek. And Lemieux tried to bang it off the back of the goaltender. And it's knotted up against the net. 11:03 to go. Period number 1 of Game 7. No score.
What a defensive play by Terry Kartner. Watch the little loft pass that Lemieux tries to Bradlauer, and Kartner picked it out of midair and sent it up against the glass. The Penguins came back on another rush. The puck bounced on Frankie Leroux. That's why he didn't get it on the goal, but Mario Lemieux tried to bank it in, as he does from behind the net off of Van Beesbroek. Again, Van Beesbroek solid.
Miller trying to hold it in on the near side for the Pens. Smolinski over there with Lindsay down on the ice for Florida. Pulled up by Smolinski, trying to move it in for the shot. Rhett Warrener, as he was going down to the ice, flips it out. And it'll be an icing call coming here, stopping the clock with 10:40 left in the first. You see the shots early on, 2 up the Pens.
Naturally, the defensive team tries for the matchups. There is part of the matchup tonight. Terry Kartner with his partner Robert Sfela. Doug McLean will try to have them out there against Mario Lemieux or against Jaromir Jagr. When he can't do that, obviously when Lemieux and Jagr are on different lines, he will counter with McLean will. Gord Murphy, Rhett Warrener, those are his big 4 defensemen that will again have to try to stop Lemieux and Jagr.
The Stars seem to be lined up for this game. It's June 1st. This is the 100th game for each of these teams. When you combine the regular season and the playoffs, they've each played 99. Somebody will play 101, and somebody will play 100. Face-off comes to the left of Van Beesbroek. For all you other Gemini. Shot back in, Moranov, and covered up by Van Beesbroek. John Van Beesbroek, the veteran, has played 1 Game 7 in his history, and it was a victorious one for him.
You know, from Game 1 of this series, the Penguins have wanted to go high on John Van Beesbroek, but he is not predictable. He mixes it up. See, before 1996, 0-5 playoffs against Pittsburgh. That is ancient history right now. And John Van Beesbroek has not been vulnerable high. He has not been vulnerable low. 5-hole, pick a spot. There has been no easy way to beat the Beezer.
His only other Game 7 in '92 when he was playing with the Rangers, an 8-4 win over the Devils. 7th game of the Patrick Division semifinals that year. That's his 1 appearance in a playoff Game 7. Face-off will come to his left this time. 10:35 to go. This has just been a intense, high-paced first 10 minutes of this game with great hitting. Moranov back at the point. Sends that one behind the net. Van Beesbroek cuts it off there. Near side, Lindsay on the backhand out of the zone. Shipped right back in. Moranov got it in. Van Beesbroek to the corner. Gord Murphy over there. Murphy had Nedved moving in. Garpenlov looking for a place to clear. Couldn't get it by Nedved. Nedved knocked it down. Garpenlov got it back. Garpenlov couldn't sweep it out of the zone. Second attempt, Fitzgerald got it to him. 3-on-3. Garpenlov the shot. Van Beesbroek, tough save. And pushes that one off to the boards. There was a rebound. Fitzgerald behind the net. His centering pass intercepted at least momentarily, but not cleared out of the zone. Good effort to hold that in by Garpenlov, who's having a very strong first period. Garpenlov along the near side. Again, stole it, knocked it down, couldn't control it. Right back out of the zone. Glenn Murray, that'll be whistled. Our first penalty of the game. And it looks like Nedved's going to get it. He is. A power play for the Florida Panthers and the first advantage of this game. Darren Bang.
Well, thanks, Gary. You know, Peter Nedved going to the box right now, but when he does get an offensive chance, he's got a pretty wicked curve on his stick, fellas, and he likes to go high to the glove side, as you guys had mentioned. Of the shots so far, there's only been 2 on John Van Beesbroek. As I sit ringside here watching the Beezer, only 2 have gone high. The rest of them have been low and along the ice or in the midsection. So if you see it during the game, you're going to look for Peter Nedved to try to go high underneath the crossbar on the much smaller John Van Beesbroek.
Yeah, Darren, the one thing you have to have when you're a skater is just a little bit of time to be able to get it high. Most of the time with the Florida Panthers, they smother you so much, you just got to get it away. And sometimes you don't have a choice, low or high. But given the choice, Nedved and the guys will go high. There is the penalty. It looked like Peter Nedved was being held. He didn't like it, and he retaliated.
Don Koharski is a referee who is noted for retaliatory penalties. That's the way he oftentimes does games. You talk to players about that. I did today, and they said, you better not retaliate. He'll give you the first good hit, but you retaliate, and Don Koharski will put you in the box, and that's what happened to Nedved. Power play opportunity right here. Niedermeyer dumps it out in front. Early stride comes back to Sfela. Sfela's shot's deflected deep against the boards and cleared out. So the roughing on Nedved at 10-10. In this series, the Florida Panthers have gone 3 for 31 on the power play against Pittsburgh. Overall in the playoffs this year, the Panthers at 17%. They have 12%. Their power play down from what they had percentage-wise during the regular season. That's true for most teams. Sent back into the corner. Miller was back there. Jagr, shorthanded chance here for Pittsburgh. Mellenby now comes in and takes the puck away. Mellenby will move it up. Panthers on the power play have had Lowry, Mellenby pick up one each in this series. Stu Barnes has the other one of the three they've had against Pittsburgh. No score, 56 seconds left on the power play chance for the Panthers. Lowry gains the red up to the blue, into the zone, lost control, sent right back out.
Dave Lowry needs a little support. When the Panthers carry to gain the zone, they need support. That means somebody getting near Dave Lowry. They're basically a dump and chase team even on their power play. So when they carry, they need people near them to pass to.
They go opposite side corner to get it in this time as Gordon Murphy dumped it in. On the near side boards, Neil Wilkinson, number 6, shoving it along. Smolinski there as well. They did not get it out. Pump shot. Lewanowski save made. Rebound Gordon Murphy centered. It was deflected over Barasso's head. Smolinski puts the check on, takes the man down. Lewanowski makes the move in. His wrist shot. That one went wide. Good chances on the near side. Lewanowski has had a couple and he heads to the net. He's involved in the play. Shepard sends it down low. Barnes waiting. Tried to center and it blocked by Wilkinson. Cleared back up to the point. Penalties over. Nedved back out. Florida does not convert. Shepard able to hold it in along the line against Nedved. Shot. Deflected in front. Never got in on Barrasso. Back to Barnes. Stu Barnes turning it. Pittsburgh back at even strength. But the Panthers are keeping the heat on. Lowry in the corner. Lowry with Tamer on his back. Goes back up top to Murphy. Murphy the wrister. Knocked down in front. And it was Shepard who deflected it down. Murphy trying to hold it in camp. Murphy's run out of legs. Now to put a hit on from behind. And it'll be knocked down on Nedved's chance. Van Beesbrook out of the crease area. Almost getting run over in the corner by Tomas Sandstrom. No score. Great to have you with us here at the Igloo in Pittsburgh. In this Game 7, our exclusive coverage of the Eastern Final here tonight. Mario Lemieux on the faceoff. Won it back to the point. Francois Leroux's shot went to the near side. Yager chasing it down. Could not control as he's flipped out of the zone by Terry Carter. There's that defensive coverage again. Huff trying to run the puck in. Knocked away by Skrubin. He tried to kick it in. Zubov was there to intercept. Zubov gets it back. Yager and Lemieux are out there together again. Zubov checked from behind. Good hit from behind by Ryan Skrubin, one of the outstanding defensive forwards of the game. Here's a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 chance. Dropped off left side. Shot. Score! Mike Huff! It ended up in a 3-on-1. And Mike Huff has given the Panthers a 1-0 lead.
What a play. How about the Florida Panthers, the team that nobody thinks can really score regularly? They only scored 1 goal in Game 4, 1 goal in Game 5. Before they got 4 in Game 6, and Mike Huff has them on the board first. Frankie Leroux is backing up on this play as they were coming towards him. He went down and kind of lost his balance, and away went Mike Huff on a 2-on-1. Sergei Zubov, the only guy back, and Tom Barrasso couldn't do a thing by the time this one got back to him. Terrific play by Robert Svala. He had to knock the pass down with his stick and his skate, and then slipped it back to Mike Huff. Svala jumped up on the play to create the 2-on-1. And how about the Florida Panthers? Here they are leading 1-0.
Mike Huff gets the goal. His first point of this series. Unlikely heroes has been the story for the Florida Panthers, and the team scoring first has won 5 of the 6 games in this series. There is Huff. Skrudland and Cartner got the assists at 13-13 in what ended up a 2-on-1 down low after a 3-on-1 at the blue line. That is the 4th career playoff goal for Huff.
You know, that started by Brian Skrudland back-checking and stopping Sergei Zubov. They turned the puck over. Away they went the other way. The coach, Doug McLean, refers to his back-checking as desperation back-checking. He said, you wouldn't believe the number of times I talk about desperation back-checking. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-on-2 coming at it. Don't give up on it. Keep coming. It paid dividends there.
Keep coming can be put on whatever year's banner goes up for the Panthers. That's the way it has been. Niedermeyer brought it into the zone. Smolinski came back to play it. Nosed it in the middle. Could not get the shot on Martin Straka. That was close. Couple of turnovers here by the Pens. Laws sends it in. Needs it quickly hit on the far side. Aronoff behind the net, jamming it with Mellenby. Back up to the point. Lewanowski shot. Barrasso had to knock that one away. That went through. Tom Barrasso positioned perfectly with lots of people in front of him. On the far side. Niedzik putting the hit on. Puck squirts away. The Panthers have got momentum. Mellanby sends it in. In the playoffs this year, for the Florida Panthers, when they have scored first, they are 10-2. Pittsburgh 9-2 when they've scored first. It has made a difference. So much defense being played, getting a lead. Even a one-goal lead changes the complexion of a game. Garpenlov the shot in, tipped down by Mellanby. Lindsay in the corner, couldn't get it. Garpenlov steps up. Garpenlov drops it back for Lindsay. Tried to center, bounced away to Tamer. Tamer up the near side boards, not out. Big battle along the boards. Tamer again back there, chipped it away. Wilkinson coming over to get it. Wilkinson getting back in the lineup after missing the last 3 games with a groin pull. Glenn Murray in the corner. Murray tied up there. Fans wanted a call, and holding the stick won't get it. Tomas Sandstrom's pass hit the back of the net. Comes to center to Lowry. Panthers leading 1-0. Shots 10-9 in favor of Florida. We've got 4:50 left to go in the first period. Joseph takes it back in behind the net. Chris Joseph waiting as the Pens complete a change. Yager and Lemieux again out there together. Dropped into the middle. Lemieux is too far behind the play. Brad Lauer, the other one up front on this line. And the Panthers. Lowry goes up with a forecheck. Lemieux's got it. Lemieux sends it ahead for Yager. Cartner was there with him. Got help from Shepard, who dumped it out. Brownhoff sends that one all the way around the near side. Lemieux stepping up to try and hold it in. Couldn't, as Cartner got a piece. Down roll, Lemieux tipped it once. Couldn't get the rebound. Lemieux gets level at the side of the net. No call on that one. Lemieux was looking for one and didn't get it. Yager cutting in on a bouncing puck he couldn't control. Lowry back to the red line. Sends it in.
That was Robert Spala that took Mario Lemieux out. Spala shows everybody the same respect. None. It doesn't matter if you're Mario Lemieux or Brad Lauer. Look out.
Another turnover. Down low, Huff again. Huff shot, save made, and Yager comes in to pick it up. Strublin and intercepted about the 4th errant pass by the Pens in their defensive zone in this period. Huff drops it back along the blue line. Backhand shot. Barrasso reaching out, will glove it on Mellanby's backhander. He had a screen set up in front. The Panthers 1, the Penguins 0.
MasterCard presents the NHL Play of the Year. Jaromir Jagr is a finalist with this burst through the Bruins.
Look at Jagr shooting. Put that one on the highlight tape as Jaromir Jagr dances in the score.
Florida on the road in this game in Pittsburgh. They are 4-4 in the playoffs on the road. Here at home, Pittsburgh 5-4. Pittsburgh's actually played better on the road this year in the playoffs, winning 6 and losing 2.
Jerry Gauthier talking to Peter Nedved. Looks like he wants him at least semi-square before he drops the puck.
All this cheating. Fitzgerald the shot blocked. Donofsky's shot blocked. Comes back through center, and that one hurt Miller. He's limping over. Kevin Miller blocked that shot, going to the Pittsburgh bench very slowly. And a penalty coming up as Nedved got tripped. And Pittsburgh trailing 1-0. We'll get a power play. Don Koharski saying, don't even talk to me about it. You're shorthanded.
I guess it's a little late to argue anything. The cards are on the table, folks. And Paul Loss is going to go off for a trip. It looked like at least Peter Nedved got the puck through him on a little deflection. And Paul Loss put a little bit of stick on him. Peter Nedved didn't look like he was going anywhere anyway, but he was able to draw the penalty. Good play by Nedved. Paul Loss sits. A man who had been sitting the last couple of games, except to kill penalties, has taken a regular shift for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that is big Frankie Leroux. The reason Leroux is playing right now is that you may have noticed the first shift of the game or the second shift, J.J. Daniel got cranked along the boards by Mike Huff. He's gone to the locker room, and Frankie Leroux now has moved into a regular spot. And he's the guy that went down on that one goal that Florida has scored in this game.
You see the Penguins' power play has dropped off significantly from their league-leading percentage. Still, in this series, has made a difference for them. They've got 3 power play goals and 28 chances against this Florida team. They need one now to get this game tied. Off the face-off. It's still no winner on this one. Nedved Lowry went right over to the boards with it. Lemieux dug it out, and Zubov cannot hold it in. Only the second penalty of the game. Laws picked up the hooking at 16:28. Zubov drops it back to Yager. Yager will send it back. Zubov. Lemieux and Yager stay out together on the power play along with Sandstrom. Zubov will be back along a point. Yager will move it back through the middle. Nedved on the other side. There's Nedved waiting. Nedved. Huff moves that on him. Dumped behind the net. Sandstrom. Sandstrom tried to chip it. Could not. Yager over to help. Back for Sandstrom. Sandstrom with Lemieux far side goes to him. Mario Lemieux. Sandstrom will set up in front. Yager on the weak side post now. There's Yager. Yager and Lemieux just go back and forth depending where the puck is. That's wide center. Sandstrom shot. He missed the net. Sandstrom set up by Lemieux, and he did not get it on net. Nedved back over to Lemieux. Power play Pittsburgh. Lubov goes to the point. Nedved to Lemieux, the one-timer, and he ripped it too far in front of Van Beesbrook. What a shot.
It sure looks to me like Mario's pressing, Gary. I mean, Mario took a huge windup on that, missed the net by 3 feet. That is not Mario. He's a touch player, even on the big slap shots. They're never that big.
Florida just keeps doing this to teams. You gotta believe they do. Dump back into the middle and intercept it. Skrudland will send it out of there. Power play down to 30 seconds. The Panthers leading 1-0. First power play chance of the game for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Yager on the near side. Yager gets by Lindsay. Drops it off for Nedved. Nedved had to turn around to get it. Now they've got to clear the zone here. Roche comes out on the power play. Moran off on the near side. Back for Roche. Trying to get it to Lemieux. Blocked by Svela again. His pass touched by Yager, but comes to Skrudland anyway. Many who followed this entire series say Svela may be the MVP next to their netminder in this series at least, and maybe in the playoffs. Svela has been spectacular. Robert Svela, the young defenseman. Move back in. Miller's all right coming back out after he blocked that shot and limped off. Held back deep into the zone. Rush turned around, couldn't get a shot off. Svela again was there on the check from behind. Power play over, so Pittsburgh does not convert on their first power play chance of the game. An icing call coming up here, and the Panthers still have the 1-0 lead. Well, the Stanley Cup Playoffs will be beginning as the Avalanche await the team that will take them on Tuesday. It begins. You'll see that game on Fox. Florida, Pittsburgh, one of those two against the Avalanche in Denver at 8 o'clock. ESPN will pick it up on Thursday with our quest for the Cup. Pre-game show starting at 7:30 on Thursday, and Game 2 from Denver with the Avalanche against the winner of this one.
Boy, the Penguins' power play had terrific puck movement, but when it came time to finish, that has become the problem. Not only for Mario Lemieux, for Sandstrom, even though he scored a beautiful goal the other night, but they really opened up the penalty-killing box, and by the time it got to Sandstrom, it never even got on net. Perfect passing, though. The Panthers' penalty killers with Nedved on the point are not willing to concede the shot from the point. That's why there is room for Mario Lemieux to pass back and forth to Yager and Sandstrom through the box.
Pittsburgh now won for their last 19 over the last 5 games, including this one on the power play. Picked up by Murphy. Murphy trying to swing it up the near side boards. Cleared up by Barnes. Barnes heads down the side. 1 minute left to go in the period. Shepard got it into the zone. Brasso played it, but right to Barnes. Tamer coming back. Final minute of this first period. Held in on the right side. Murphy shot deflected out deep. Fans will try and take advantage. Mileski drops it off. Shot by Lauer comes to the near side. Tamer was waiting at the point, had to back up on it. Carson was able to clear. There's Tamer. Pittsburgh clears the zone here. You look at the time remaining in this first period. As the Florida Panthers have got the 1-0 lead on the goal by Huff at 13-13 from Svela and Skrudland. They changed one of the assists on that. Svela will get an assist on that goal. The view on the far side. Yager had to go by him in order to keep it onside. And the Panthers, the fans oohing and eyeing. The Panthers D getting the job done here in this first period again. Couple of chances Pittsburgh's had them with their big guns going in. Yager and Lemieux and Nedved. Sandstrom with a shot. They've either not gotten it on net or Van Beesbrook's been able to come away with a save. And that's the end of our first period. Our New Dodge intermission upcoming. A special analysis by Barry of this one, and a look at what's going to be going on in the Stanley Cup Finals. Major League Baseball report. It's all upcoming for you. We've completed one. Game 7. There must be a winner here in Pittsburgh tonight. And right now, one period has been won by the Rat Pack as the Panthers lead Pittsburgh inside the Igloo in Pittsburgh 1-0. John and Barry.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. All right, we've been shaking our heads since they swept past the Bruins in 5 games, since they beat the Philadelphia Flyers in 6. We're shaking our heads. There's a Game 7, and now they're up after a period.
Well, exactly. I think the fairy godmother just turned a pumpkin into a coach. Florida scored the first goal. They play much better with the first goal. We all know that all season long. And a wicked stepmother is looking a little bit frustrated, so we'll see what happens the rest of the game here.
When you say a coach, you mean one with wheels or one that's behind the bench?
Both at this time.
Well, this coach, Doug McLean, is winning it 1-0
a lot of times.
I wasn't going to get you with that one, but I couldn't resist. Florida right now has a 1-0 lead, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. The second period still to come, but it's time for the new Dodge Intermission Report. We'll turn Barry from pumpkin to coach when we come back after this.
Right now, the players are having a hard time finding the puck. Stephon Matteau's got it. Matteau's center, taking it. They score! They score! The Rangers have won the game! 19!
The New York Rangers from just a couple of years ago winning the Stanley Cup and ending that 54-year drinks. And welcome to the new Dodge Intermission Report. John Saunders alongside Barry Melrose. And right now we want to talk about the Colorado Avalanche, a team that is in the Stanley Cup final for the first time, awaiting the winner of the game you're watching now. They, of course, will have 6 full days off before they get a chance to play another opponent. And in this one, they worked out today. Mark Crawford loves his team. He thinks that his team has been a bit underrated by a lot of other people out there. He thinks that right now he's got the best club in the game.
We believe we're the best club in the National Hockey League right now. I think if you talk to people in Florida and you talk to people in Pittsburgh, they say the same thing about their clubs.
Right now, Crawford has an argument for this. He does have a very confident team.
John, all the humble people are out of here. If you get in the Stanley Cup Finals, you believe in yourself, you believe in your team. If you're a coach, if a player, you believe in each other, you believe in what you're building, you believe in everything that you've done all season long. So again, the humble guys are done. They're at home golfing. It's the proud guys that care about themselves, character guys that are still playing.
And you remember that this team has a lot of great skilled players. Joe Sakic, so much on him, but Peter Forsberg has some tremendous talent.
Well, this is a kid we've been talking about all series long, and I love him. He's growing on me all the time. He's showing things that I never thought he had. And again, one of the things we always knew was skill. We see this move, toast, right through the legs there. Great goal. You see his skill there. But he's also shown a lot of grit this year. Again, we're going to embarrass Lidstrom one more time. But he's showing some character. He's showing some skill. He's showing some hitting. He's showing some power. He's not a nice guy. He takes hits. He gives hits. This kid is a big-time player, and I personally feel that this guy is an emerging superstar, not just a star, but a superstar.
Without question, he had a tremendous season after being Rookie of the Year last year, but right now he's tailed off a little bit over the last 2 rounds. You see what he did during the first round of the playoffs, where he was just on fire with 10 points, only 6 points in the last 2 rounds, and what would you attribute that to?
I attribute to a guy that's playing hard in both ends of the rink. I attribute to a guy who's battling. I attribute to a guy who's had chances but didn't score. I attribute to a guy who's setting his teammates up. This guy, what he does, doesn't show on the scoreboard. Sakic's getting a lot of goals, and everything he's doing is going in right now, but there's lots of other guys that aren't scoring that are doing some things. Ricci's playing very hard. He's scoring. But Forsberg, Kaminsky, Olsenlitz, these guys that are the stars that aren't scoring, they're doing a lot of things away from the puck, and Forsberg's a prime example of that. He'll score in the finals.
And there's the fact also he's already played about twice as many games as he played all of last year in that shortened season. Stick around. When we come back, we will have more. We'll take a look at Major League Baseball fisticuffs on the base paths once again.
Tonight's intermission report is presented by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead.
The second period is coming up, but first, the rest of the new Dodge intermission report as we look towards the second period. Mario Lemieux, we heard him talk about it before the game, saying it's the best defense he's ever faced. You'd have to agree right now.
Right now, it is the best defense he's ever faced, and they're doing a lot of good things. They adapt so well. If they can't forecheck with 2 men, this is what they do. They send 2 men in, but very passively. That man's job is to force the puck. Number 20's job is to pick up anything that comes through the center ice area, plugging up the neutral zone. They do that. The defenseman sees that, so he throws it back. Again, that guy pulls out, so there's no 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, forces Pittsburgh back. There's a turnover we were talking about. Tamer throws it up the wall. And again, great positioning. That man's job, pick up everything along the wall. Nothing comes up there. 20's in the middle again, ready to pick up any garbage that comes up center. Puck's turned over, they get it, goes right back in. Passive defense there. We've talked about their aggressiveness, John, how they attack when they can. When they can't attack, passive defense, plugging up the neutral zone, creating turnovers that way.
They make a very talented team, looks very sloppy at times. Well, will it be the Penguins? Will it be the Panthers? We know it will be in Denver. The Avalanche await Thursday, game number 2, Fox's game 1 on Tuesday. The coverage begins at 7:30. Right now, it's a 1-0 game, a nifty little 2-on-1 here, and Huff converts.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup Playoffs is brought to you by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. By Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes. And by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead.
Welcome back. The confluence right there. The Monongahela, the Allegheny, The Ohio. I had to put the geography book back here. Florida Panthers leading it by a score of 1-0. Speaking of confluences, Darren Bang.
Thank you very much. J.J. Daniel, fellas, did not come back here for the second period after apparently injuring himself off a wicked Mike Huff hit in the early parts of the first period. Now, don't forget now, you got a guy like Neil Wilkinson that's playing with a real bad stomach muscle pull and groin pull, so that's really going to force the other guys to play. Over on the Florida side, what's going on there, Brian Engblom?
Well, I just talked to Doug McLean, and he was a little uptight. He said, why do you get the dry heaves? I think he's a little uptight because earlier in the year, he had talked about maybe it would be a good idea to play against the Pittsburgh Penguins because we've done so well against Mario Lemieux in short segments. Maybe he's changing his mind right now, guys.
Bill Clement.
Well, I've had the dry heaves from a couple other things, but I've never stood behind the bench when my team is playing in a Game 7.
I actually had pretzels between periods. Much better choice than the dry heaves.
But the Florida Panthers have what they wanted. In 3 of the games in this series, the lead has changed hands. It has changed hands a total of 4 different times in this series. So it's important to have the lead. Not entirely crucial, but that is what the Florida Panthers wanted because they are able to go after Jaromir Jagr, go after Mario Lemieux, play their game now.
The scoreless streak continues for both Jagr and Lemieux. They each had 2 shots in that first period. But Mike Huff from Svela and Skrudland at 13-13 on an even strength goal has given the Panthers a 1-0 lead as we start the second period of this Game 7. Great to have you with us, everybody. They're back in. Mellanby on the near side. Mellanby tied up. Kicked it into the corner to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer bounces it behind the boards. Niedermeyer, Mellanby, and Straka on a line that did not play together all year. We asked Doug McLean this morning, why'd you put them together in the last game for the first time? And he gave the appropriate coach's answer. I don't know. Dump pass into the middle of Mellanby. Mellanby moving it over the blue line. Tamer missed the check. Mellanby, centering pass intercepted by Jagr. Jagr out there with Lemieux to start this period. Lauer was with them but heads to the bench. Jagr trying to get it in front. There's the frustration that Pittsburgh has faced throughout this series. Those 2 guys so used to being able to bring the puck down on a couple guys in front of them and still make something happen. Lemieux shot, blocked out deep. Lemieux to Jagr. Great save, shot, twice by Roach. Joseph, save, rebound, deflected in front by Jagr. Kicked away to the corner for Brett Warner, but not out. Shot deflected in front. Roach got knocked down. Penalty coming. The best scoring chance of the game in front of Beezer. Roach had come out in Lauer's place on this line with Lemieux and Jagr.
And he ended up with the puck exactly where he wanted it, right in front of John Van Beesbroek. The reason Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux have had really no results is you can't beat the Florida Panthers with a finesse game. You got to get it in front. You got to get ugly like this. This is Dave Roach in front. Good first shot. Kicked it up for a good second shot. John Van Beesbroek's positional play is as good as you will ever see. And finally help came to get Dave Roach out of the way. And Dave Roach was a huge scorer in junior hockey. It's not as if standing in front of the net with a puck on his stick and the goal looking right in front of him is new to Dave Roach. I mean, he's been there many, many times. John Van Beesbroek continues to be the story.
The 32-year-old veteran, originally out of Detroit, making the big saves. Now his team will be shorthanded as Svela goes on the interference at 1:10. Dave Roachville was talking about 55 goals in the OHL in a season. So yes, he has been there before.
You almost have to be able to do a little quick stick handle, have arms 5 feet long, get it to the side, and then put it under the crossbar to beat Van Beesbroek. I mean, he's just solid all the way around.
Pittsburgh on their second power play of the game did not convert on their first chance. Zubov, Nedved over near side Lemieux. Jagr and Sandstrom out there. Dump back to the point. Nedved can't handle a pass. And Miller was out there down low with Sandstrom. That was Miller's pass up to Nedved that went through. Zubov takes it back in behind the net. Back pass. Get some help over there from Sandstrom, but couldn't control it. And almost ended up right on Huff's stick and knocked back into the zone by the Panthers. Power play now for the Pittsburgh Penguins in this series, 3 for 29 against the Panthers. Back comes Miller the other way. Miller, Nedved, and Lemieux are up front now. He intercepted Gord Murphy, and he clears the zone. Pittsburgh fans, the rumble going around the igloo here as they're not able to get this set. Fans trying to stay positive as they cheer on the power play here. Near side for Nedved, moves in by Lemieux. Nedved down low, had nobody out in front. Back to Lemieux, who's up top now. Lemieux goes to the corner, switching on the near side with Nedved. Nedved back over to Lemieux. Lemieux waiting. Florida stays back. Centering pass, bounced away. Roach down low, had the chance, went off Van Beesbrook. Zubov, Nedved, Lemieux. They're just around the perimeter here. Zubov waiting. Nedved, Lemieux on the far side. They crisscrossed the pass, couldn't hang on Zubov.
Now, the Penguins have to realize, and they're running out of time, that Pretty doesn't get it against the Florida Panthers. Ugly gets it, and Dave Roach is waiting in front to be ugly the whole time.
Zubov, shot, save, rebound, tipped at the side of the net, and a whistle as it's frozen up. Roach put the hit on and draws the attention of the Ratback. Dogger was looking for that rebound at the side of the net, could not get to it. Take a look here at our leaderboard. Brought to you by the new Miller Beer. The playoff point leaders, Joe Sakic chasing down that MVP with the Avalanche. Then Lemieux and then Jaromir Jagr, the top three in the playoffs.
Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, Sergei Zubov, Peter Nedved can stand on the perimeter of the power play all they want. When Florida doesn't take the bait and they don't move with all of that puck movement, there is no place to pass. There's hardly a place to shoot, but there's one thing that was consistent on this power play. Dave Roach, number 51, was in front of the net the whole time. A lot of the time, he was left wide open, and when they finally got it in, that's as close as he came, just outside the post. But nobody is taking Big Dave Roach, and don't give up on his hands. You get it to him again, sooner or later, he's going to beat Van Beesbrook in front.
Eddie Johnston has told this team throughout the playoffs, shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. He's repeated that ad nauseum, and they still are dangling the puck on the perimeter on this power play and not getting it in front.
They've got to get it to John Van Beesbrook and get dirty goals, get ugly goals, get their noses dirty. Now, that doesn't come naturally to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but they are left now with a couple of periods in this game with no alternative.
Two veterans, Mario Lemieux, Brian Skrudland. You can be sure they're not chatting about vacations this summer. They'll take the face-off, maybe, if they stop talking. Excuse me, gentlemen, may we play the game?
Maybe they're talking about the vacation they're trying to send one another on.
And Lemieux won the face-off. Run-off shot. Save made. Miller was there for the rebound. It went just outside the reach of his stick. And the penalty is over. And 0 for 2 on the power play. Pittsburgh, they do not convert, and the Panthers maintain that 1-0 lead. Joseph waiting as the Pens were changing it up. Comes to center. Barnes dumps that one back into the zone. Joseph's going to come back to get it. Joseph will wrap that one around the net all the way out through center. Looking in the middle. They're trying to break somebody. Miller on the far side. Lemieux in. Knocked away from him. Into the corner. He was open, tried to do it on his own. He's still tied up. Mario Lemieux jams it out in front. Wraparound chance. Whistle. Lemieux retaliates there against the rookie, Rhett Warner.
And he's jabbing one strong rookie. The most underrated thing about Rhett Warner, besides the fact that he's a rookie here in a 7th game, his strength, his arms like steel, and he took Lemieux and made him pay.
Panthers, who we keep referring to as a Cinderella story. I thought their coach, Doug MacLean, a worthy comment this morning. He went to the All-Star game as a coach and said, I came back and told this team, all the superstars were saying to me at the All-Star game, you got a really good club. They weren't kidding. J.J. Daniel back out, deflected wide, and Van Beesbrook reaches out to cover on that one with Glenn Murray moving up.
And Doug MacLean couldn't wait to get that info on the table for his team. It was just another motivational tool. Mario Lemieux knows better than any player that has ever played against the Florida Panthers, because of the 7-game series, there are layers of them. It's never just a matter of beating one player. He said you beat one guy at the blue line, you beat Rhett Warner there, another one showed up. He said very often you beat one guy and 2 players are there to pick you up. Rhett Warner did a pretty good job of trying to finish off Mario Lemieux, but it is never as simple as just beating one guy when you're playing the Florida Panthers, and Mario knows that.
So we mentioned before about Robert Svela, true for most of this team. They show the same respect for everybody. None, including Mario Lemieux.
That's right. John Van Beesbrook had been pretty well eaten up by Mario Lemieux before this series began. Regular season career, 27 goals. More goals than anybody had ever scored on John Van Beesbrook. This series through 6 games plus, just the one. Lemieux, Jágr, Nedved, 6 shots in the first period combined. So the right guys were getting the shots, still nothing.
In this series, the 2 goal scorers have been Nedved, Smolinski, and Kevin Miller and Sandstrom. They've had the 2. Comes back up to Daniel. His pass intercepted. Knocked down Shepard. Shepard coming in. Shepard a step. Shepard waits. Turns. Trying to get it back in front. Backhands it through the crease. And Lowry cutting with him. Turns up to a 2-on-1 the other way. Looking Murray's shot. Great save, Van Beesbrook. Zincek went in a 2-on-1. Van Beesbrook right down. Perfect position to make the save. Another odd man rush. Pittsburgh doesn't convert on Lowry's pass. Intercepted down low shot. Save made. Barrasso on Shepard. Back out for Carter. Carter sends it into the side of the net. Deflected by Barnes. Barnes to Shepard. Shepard back in front. Turns forehand shot wide. He had a screen in front. Carter guns it back. Smolinski. Pittsburgh needs a clear. They won't get it here. Yes, they do. Bounced away to center off Tamer. Carter was there trying to battle and hold it in. Dumped back in. Both teams want to change. Mercy. Daniel comes back into the zone. Some chances here for both teams. Van Beesbrook will hang on to this one, delayed on the offside anyway.
Outstanding chances at both ends. Man, oh man. Eddie Jovanovski had tried to create a chance at the other end, and he got caught. That's what sent the 2-on-1 going the other way. It was Murray to Joe Dietzek. Terrific save by John Van Beesbrook. And this is the chance at the other end just a second ago. Ray Shepard, Tom Barrasso, positionally perfect. It's been that kind of series. That's why I said I'll be sad for one of these teams. Barrasso has been magnificent. Van Beesbrook, incredible. We're running out of adjectives.
Yep. Barrasso with a .925 save percentage. Playoffs this year, 4th best among the netminders. Nedved the blue liner high on Van Beesbrook. Followed up his own shot in the corner. Gets some help. Barnes comes over. Niedermeyer rather came over and dug it out. And the Panthers able to get it out of the zone. Through center, Mellanby. Mellanby back in. Mellanby rolled it in. Barrasso tipped it away. Tamer got back there for Pittsburgh on Mellanby. There they are still battling behind the net. Rolled up on the near side boards. Roach was there. Dropped it off in the middle of Nedved. Nedved sends it wide side. Pittsburgh back. Zubov the shot. Deflected out deep by Carter. Carter, Zubov skate. Couldn't hold it in. Pittsburgh changing. They've got to clear the zone here. They didn't in time. And end up offside. Lots of sports action in this city. They had the Memorial Day parade today here because of the weather last week. And off the confluence down there by the point opposite that, Three Rivers Stadium. They're playing baseball there tonight. Larry Walker, who plays out in Colorado, a former goaltender.
This is Larry Walker, the Colorado Rockies. Just want to wish the Panthers, Penguins, good luck tonight. Knock yourself out. Play 10 periods, because when you're done, you're facing the Lance, my Lance, and they're taking you down.
He just wants him to play the 10 periods, huh?
He loves the game. He was an outstanding hockey player and had a chance to come into the game professionally and chose baseball instead, and he's done well at that. Shot on Barrasso and hung on to. No rebound there. Good opportunity for Skrudland, who was cutting in that time. His 124th playoff game for Brian Skrudland. Want to remind you, Sunday Night Baseball, game of the week, coming up at 8 o'clock. The Atlanta Braves, Cincinnati Reds, they went at it today. Reds won it by a score of 3-2, beating Maddox in that game. McGriff, another long ball for him. Atlanta's 3rd loss in their last 11 games, and Tommy Glavine will try and put an end to that 1-game losing streak. Last 5 years, Glavine 98 wins, even better than his teammate, Mr. Maddox. Skrudland and Lemieux off the face-off. Mario Lemieux won it. Near side for Lauer. Lauer flips that one back into the corner. And that'll be Gord Murphy on the touch for the icing call.
Face-off will come back down to Tom Barrasso's end of the ice. One thing the Florida Panthers definitely want to continue to do, and they did it very well in the first period. We haven't seen much of their forecheck and their containment yet in the second period. Obviously, they want traffic in front of Barrasso. That is rule number 1 in the playoffs. You have to generate traffic. That's one of the reasons the Penguins are having trouble. They haven't generated traffic at the other end. But the traffic is very specific. What Florida wants to do, they want to keep Tom Barrasso in the paint. They think he's at his best when he moves a foot out. Right? See where he is right now?
Short by Murphy. That shot deflected into the seats.
He moved right out, a couple of feet outside of the paint. If they can get to the paint to screen him with the backs of their skates just on the edge of the paint so that they're not in the crease, they think they can push Tom Barrasso and keep him back and really keep him out of where he is at his best, which is a couple of feet out in front of his crease. See where he is. I mean, he's probably a good, I don't know, good couple of feet, maybe 3 feet. It's tough to tell from that angle, but he's out there cutting down the angle. If they can get to him, they can pin him back in there and take away that angle cutting.
Mentioned that Van Beesbrook was 1-0 in Game 7s. Tom Barrasso has won 1 and lost 2 in Game 7s in his career. Game 7 here, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Panthers. J.J. Daniel cleared it up. Miller on the near side. Miller charging. Lemieux heading to the net as well. Lemieux got dumped. Miller rolled it in. Shot. Van Beesbrook makes another save. Yager loose puck, and it's covered by Van Beesbrook. J.J. Daniel trailed the play and got a final chance, and Van Beesbrook had to make a save. It went through the entire pile in front of him.
Did it ever. How many whacks did they have at? What a move Kevin Miller put on Gordie Murphy coming down the side. He got it in front, and then there were 3-4 doorstep chances. Everybody converged there, including Dmitry Mironov coming down. Here's Gordie Murphy coming down, trying to take Kevin Miller. Watch this move here, the stop-and-go move. And Gordie Murphy lost it. That was a terrific move. There was the first scoring chance. Puck squirted loose. Follow-up by J.J. Daniel. Mironov was in there. Mario skated up to Rhett Warner and cross-checked him to the side of the head. Right there, bang. Warner wanted a penalty. Didn't get it.
There's going to be a penalty call later, though. A slashing call. Mironov is going to get it.
Watch the cross-check. Top of your screen. Watch this from Mario Lemieux. Cross-check right to the neck of Rhett Warner. Rhett Warner turned around looking at Don Koharski saying, aren't you going to call it?
He has met up with Lemieux before in this game and has gotten under Mario's skin. In fact, safe to say, Bill, we were talking between periods. There's the slashing call. It's clear the Panthers are underneath Pittsburgh's skin pretty deep in this game.
Yeah, it really looks as if Mario and Jaromir Jagr are reacting the way they would normally. They should react. They're not used to having been shut out like this. This is brand new ground for them. This is uncharted waters.
Big chance for the Panthers right here with a 1-0 lead. They get the power play. We've only had 4 penalties in the game. Second power play opportunity for the Red Pack here as they go at it. They are 3 for 32 in this series against Pittsburgh. They've got the 1-0 lead. Mike Huff had the goal in the first period. Sent around on the near side. Smolinski tried. Mellenby was there to block it. Mellenby leads it. They've got Niedermeyer set up in front of the net. Martin Straka trying to drop it in front to Mellenby. Mellenby getting some help. Zubov was there, got spun around. Mellenby doing the battle, winning the war along the boards on that occasion. Niedermeyer sends it back in behind the net. Straka back up Niedermeyer. Now Florida will set the power play up. Svela working at one of the points. Shot back in. Mellenby the intended. Partner came over to help out on that one. Straka got right back up, took it away. Now the Panthers, they are beating Pittsburgh in effort out there right now. Knocked away by Nedved, gets knocked down. Wanted a call on it, won't get it. Chased down at the far end by Jason Woolley. Woolley's working in the power play. He's been out 7 games prior to Game 6. He came back to play in Game 6, and he's playing here again, limited play tonight.
But this is why he is there, for the power play. The Panthers were having just a terrible time. 1 goal in Game 4, 1 goal in Game 5. Jason Woolley is a 7th defenseman for power play.
The Panthers are 1 for 26 over the last 6 games on the power play. Cleared back out the center. There's Woolley coming back to get it. 35 seconds left on this Florida power play. Svela had it knocked away. Miller was up ice. He's got 2 back with him. He's looking in the middle. Sandstrom was cutting. Trying to go back to the point. Good. Miller turns back towards the middle. Still short-handed, the Penguins. They've got an offensive chance here. Sandstrom battling Barnes. Barnes was able to kick it away. Power play down to 14 seconds now. Shepherd. Ray Shepherd moves it up for Florida. Flipped it back into the zone. Dragging off a little time. Dumped the center. Jagr trying to draw it in. Jagr coming. 2 left on the Pittsburgh penalty. Jagr taken up by Gord Murphy. Penalty is over. And 0 for 2 in the power play of the Panthers. Mario Lemieux. Lemieux down around behind the net. Yager looking out in front, centered it, comes all the way back to the point. Looking for the cutting forwards out there. Yager. Murray, his shot blocked. Murray tried again, deflects to the corner. Mario Lemieux trying to pick the play up again. Yager over there. Jaromir Yager. Jovanovski's on his back. Yager runs it up the boards. Lindsay stepped in. Lindsay took it away, couldn't get it out. Cleared back for Lemieux. Lemieux cutting. Lemieux, batted bounce over his stick. Lemieux slashes away at Murphy to free the puck up. Back for Lemieux on the near side. His shot deflected out in front. Jovanovski was there and it hit his skates. And Florida will take a whistle right here in the faceoff. Jovanovski and Yager. Why can't I score? Welcome back, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement upstairs with you as the Penn fans sit back as the Panthers once again have taken the house out of this game for the moment.
Sure have. Something that would at least help the Penguins get back into it, Gary, is a hit. Some hitting. I mean, Eddie Johnston said we didn't hit anybody in Game 6. And even the glamorous Penguins, which they are, with Lemieux, with Yager, with Peter Nedved, somebody has to hit. Dave Roach has to hit. Somebody has to get it going to get the crowd in it, to get their team back into it.
Well, they have not done that yet. Roach takes it back in behind the net. Roach looking, jammed away in front, right through the crease, trying to set it up. J.J. Daniel is back out. He took a hit and left midway through that first period. He's been back here in the second, though, playing regularly. Garpenlov cleared it out of the zone, and that one on the attempted send-back goes up into the seats.
Well, Dave Roach got plastered against the boards by Tommy Fitzgerald. A big hit. But after that, there was a counter hit by the Pittsburgh Penguins. At least Brian Smolinski answered. There's the crunching hit on Dave Roach. A little extra after the play, but Brian Smolinski pinched up on the play and leveled a real good hit along the board. So the Penguins are at least on the board all of a sudden with the hits.
Fitzgerald, a couple of goals, 3 assists, playing a +2 overall in the playoffs for him. Roach has had some of the best chances in this game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Face-off comes outside Van Beesbrook's zone here. Fitzgerald spun around, couldn't control it. Nedved dropped it off on the near side for Sandstrom. Had it chipped away behind the net by Murphy. Marner cleared it around for Lindsay. Held in Zubov the shot. Deflected out deep. 3-on-3 chance the other way. Fitzgerald leads the charge. Sent it near side. Lindsay. Forehand side. Deflected wide. Zubov came in to help. Great opportunity, though. And a great chance to get it on the forehand. We're going to get a penalty delayed call coming up right here on the Panthers.
And it's going to be on Tommy Fitzgerald. Chris Damer did a really good job when he felt Fitzgerald's stick on his body, on his left arm, of riding the stick up his shoulder and right onto his own face. I don't think that was his intention, but he was just trying to get body position on Fitzgerald. Watch this. See how he's squeezing Fitzgerald off? He squeezed him off, and Tom Fitzgerald, in his desire to try to hook him back, had no place to go but up high. So a good penalty drawn by Chris Damer, and it gives the Penguins the power.
No argument there from Tom Fitzgerald. Power play for Pittsburgh.
But the speed of Billy Lindsay. Ask the Boston Bruins about his speed. Ask the Philadelphia Flyers about Bill Lindsay's speed. One of the unheralded guys, one of the unsung heroes. The Panthers just take turns passing the undershirt back and forth that has the big S on the chest. You never know who's wearing it under the uniform from one night to the next.
Pittsburgh fans trying to get it going. You see the power play in the playoffs. 3 for 30 after going 5 for 17 in the regular season. Third power play opportunity of the game for Pittsburgh. They need one here just to try and get some confidence back as well as to tie the score up. Zubov on the near side. We're halfway through this game 7. With 10:05 left to go in the second period. Swung up Skrudlin. Didn't connect on that. Barrasso comes out. Zubov there. Skrudlin up on the forecheck. Pittsburgh gingerly starting up here on the power play to Lemieux. Drops it back for Zubov. Look at the havoc caused by one Panther, Mike Huff. And Daniel couldn't get it, and Murphy clears it the other way.
Easy for Mike Huff when there's only one guy back there. Everybody had gone up ice waiting for Zubov to get it to them. You can't play the waiting game against the Panthers.
And it's dumped in, and Cotner beats Pittsburgh to the puck. Clears it up. Zubov trying to hold it in, couldn't. It was knocked away off Daniel. Short-handed chance here as it's Skrudland knocking it deep into the zone. A minute 8 on the power play for the Pens. Mike Huff the only goal. Even strength first period. 1-0 Panthers. Again the dump into the corner. Loss again there to get it for the Panthers. Sends it up and out of the zone.
Not even close. When the Panthers can force the Penguins into a dump and chase game, they have them where they want them.
Runoff starts it the other way. 48 left of the power play. Nedved trying to pick the pace up to Lemieux. In the middle, tipped away to the side by Roach. Runoff sends it back into the corner. Roach back. Nedved intended for Lemieux. Lemieux had to knock it down on the attempted clear by Barnes. And he got it back and sends it out. Stu Barnes. Now Pittsburgh looks like they are all looking to Lemieux. So Barnes just stayed right there with him. And when the pass came back, a blind pass, he was standing right in front of Mario Lemieux. Nedved off. Sent in Lemieux and an offside on the power play for the Pens with 18 seconds left on the advantage. The Stanley Cup Finals begin next week. One of these two teams will be in it against the Avalanche in Colorado. These guys are waiting for the opposition and a chance at the Stanley Cup when there'll be only 2 left. We will pick up the coverage on Thursday. We'll be there in Denver. Our quest for the Cup pregame show starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. MVP?
Joe Sakic is right there in the running. Much to be determined in the final series. Who will win the Stanley Cup? Who will win the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP? But right now, Joe Sakic is not penciled in on the list of finalists. He is right there in ink.
We will be broadcasting games 2, 4, 5, and 6 on ESPN. Fox will be carrying 1, 3, and 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Tonight, though, you got it. The only place you can find it. Our exclusive coverage here of the finals in the Eastern Conference. Cleared back into the middle. Good work by Tamer getting back on Huff. Barrasso comes out up against the near side boards. Miller. Miller spun around at center. Trying to drop it off. Again deflected along the boards. Lauer kicks it in. But an offside call. 8:07 left to go. Second period. Panthers leading it 1-0. A beautiful summer day and an equally lovely sunset here in Pittsburgh.
And waiting. They just don't know which direction they're going. Coach Doug McLean said, I'd rather go west than south. They got a 1-goal lead. They got some work to do yet. We'll see what happens, guys.
They would all rather have that flight plan heading west to Colorado rather than back home, which would mean their season is over. Doesn't matter. The plane is there waiting.
It'll go wherever they
demand
it be taken. They've got some Game 7 players on this Florida team, even though in their franchise history it's their first time in a Game 7, obviously. But Mellenby, Hartner, Murphy, Fitzgerald have all played in Game 7s before with other teams. So they've been there.
Yeah, against the Penguins, too. And those guys have defeated the Penguins as either members of the Islanders or the Flyers, those two we mentioned.
Yep. Brought back in. Niedermeyer down low. The shot. Barrasso the save and gets run into by Niedermeyer. Barrasso right back up. Niedermeyer got up as well. Now we'll get a penalty. This is not a goaltender interference. This is a cross-check on Pittsburgh. Barrasso's looking at the referee, Don Koharski, wondering how there can be no goaltender interference on Niedermeyer. There wasn't.
No, he carried the puck close enough to Tom Barrasso that finally it just became a collision. But here's what the Panthers think Tom Barrasso does and what they capitalize on. Going down early on the short side chance. He did not go down early there. He just went down on the butterfly. And Rob Niedermeyer was in so close, he just banged into him when he ran out of real estate. There is the hit, though, at the end of the play on Scott Mellenby. That has put the Panthers on the power play.
Eddie Johnston has complained, as we said, vociferously during the playoffs about the calls not being made against Florida for holding, etc. And obviously doesn't like this one. Our head and shoulders storyline. Mike Huff, goal number 4, first of the series. That's the only one in this game. Lemieux and Jágr have no goals since Game 2 of this series. The team scoring first has won 5 of 6 games in this series.
Our head and shoulders replay is the only goal of this tilt, and we are getting down to the end of the second period. Mike Huff scored it. A 2-on-1. Huff to Svela to Huff, and behind Tom Barrasso. Mike Huff had not scored since Game 5 of the Flyers series. He picks his spots. He had a double overtime game winner against the Flyers and a huge goal here in Game 7.
There is Peter Nedved out on the cross-check at 12-19. Each team now has had 3 power play chances in the game. Neither's been able to convert. Third chance right here for the Panthers, who've had only 1 shot on their first 2 opportunities. There's Svela. Ayla, Straka looking out in front. Niedermayer shot saved, deflected by Straka, knocked away by Lemieux. Back up on top, Spala. Straka, the former Pittsburgh Penguin. Martin Straka near side. Pittsburgh stays back. Little jam up in front. Shot. That's deflected. Blocked up deep. And Tamer blocked it. Sends it out. That'll be played at the other end by Jason Woolley.
You know, when you go for the big windup on the power play in the playoffs in general, there's going to be somebody in front to block.
Yep. Sent around off the dasher. In fact, over as it ends up in the seat souvenir. Power play underway here for the Panthers. Let's check in with Darren Pang. Darren.
You know, Gary, with that non-call on Tom Barrasso, you know, he's a kind of a guy that's feisty in that net. He wants to protect that crease area. You can be sure right now, while the Panthers are on the power play, that referee Don Koharski gives him the benefit of the doubt of at least one slash with a member of the Panthers right in front of his net. We all know that he's very aggressive and protective of that crease area.
And here is the play that we were talking about with Rob Niedermayer scooting to the net. He tried to hold up, but he ended up rolling over Tom Barrasso. And I imagine, as Darren mentioned, the Panthers know that there's going to be one free slash, and they're saying, okay, who's going to go in there and get the one free slash out of the way?
Generally, that is a situation that's been called this year. The goaltender interference is one of those areas the league was specific in wanting to enforce. They did not want their goaltenders in the league to be run. That's why whenever a goaltender gets touched, you get the kind of reaction you do from his team when no penalty happens. Dump back into the corner. Power play still underway here. Freed up behind the net. Not out of the zone. Murphy's shot deflected out in front and cleared out by Jagr. Good play by Wilkinson, who actually made that stop, and then Jagr able to clear the zone. Bear in mind, when Mario Lemieux's out there, as he is right now short-handed, he is a threat. Zubov cleared it up. Our crack research department telling us before the game, Mario Lemieux in Game 7 has scored 3 goals. They all have been short-handed Game 7 goals. He's out there right now. Barnes got knocked down by Zubov, cleared around Shepard. Shepard moving back up towards the middle here. 1-0 Panther lead. They've got the power play for 19 more seconds. Sent over. Jovanovski's pass blocked, and Smolinski, good job clearing it out. Sandstrom's got it. Teams change. While Sandstrom drags a little bit on the blue line and sends it in. Knocked down behind the net, Van Beesbroek. Jovanovski's got it. 4 left on the power play. Errant pass really didn't intend to. Lost at center. Jagr went right over Lemieux's stick. Nedved moves it in. Penalty's over. Pittsburgh back at full strength. Good play by Nedved to Lemieux. Lemieux had it poke, checked away to center. They are all over him. Murphy that time. He's got no room to move. Center around the boards. Fire side. Straka trying to get it up. Lemieux center. Couldn't get the tip on net. There's Jagr standing there with the puck too close for him to redirect. Jump back into the corner. Van Beesbroek there. Each team is now 0 for 3 on the power play in this game. Bounces away to center. Pittsburgh completing a line change. Barrasso will let that one go to the side of the net. The shots on in this game are 20-17 in favor of the Penguins. But Mike Huff's got the only goal, 1-0. Face-off's going to come back to the right of Barrasso.
Well, how much respect can we pay these two men, Tom Barrasso and John Van Beesbroek at the other end? When you think that there are only 84 other men in the history of the game, in the universe, that can relate to what it's like being a goaltender in a 7th game. You're looking at numbers 85 and 86. That is how many men have played in goal in 7th games, and there is no more pressure in the world than being the final man standing there facing the shooter, and we are in a 1-0 game. Respect, top shelf for both of them.
See his 1-2 mark in Game 7s for Tom Barrasso, and who had lost his job partway through the playoffs this season with Kenny Reggett. The irony somewhat is that Reggett still has the 5th best goals against of playoff goaltenders. Save made by Barrasso on that one as Garpenlove ripped one in on a wrist shot. Panthers up 1-0. We'll be right back to the Igloo. Folks on hand at Woodson's Bar and Grill. Rod Woodson of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the owner of this one. Full house on hand. We're hoping they all are keeping Nielsen books, and they brought them with them.
And there is not much to cheer about yet, but here's the positive for everybody at Woodson's. The Penguins are only a goal behind. When you've got Nedved, when you've got Lemieux, when you've got Jagr, you ain't out of it at all, baby, when you're only 1 down.
Shot in. Barrasso makes the blocker save, and all of you at South Beach, yes, your team is ahead 1-0. Here's Nedved, tied up by Garpenlov at center. He spun around here. The Panthers on Mike Huff's goal in the first period, maintaining that 1-0 lead. This is a Panther kind of game. Again, Miller, very tough, very hard, scrappy, where you got to earn every inch of ice out there. Van Beesbrook held it up for Cartner. Gary Cartner looking up, trying to break it on the near side. Garpenlov moving in. Backhand side, Miller took him out of the play. Covered on the near side corner by Wilkinson. A.J. Daniel loops it away to center. Back through the middle, Smolinski lost control of that one. Flipped into the corner by Terry Cartner, and then the 9-iron shot gets it out of the zone. Sent back in. Pittsburgh could have been offside. Van Beesbrook plays that one out in front of him. 3:56 left to go, second period. Both of these first two periods have flown by. We've had few penalties and few whistles for anything else. Mario Lemieux with delayed offside call right here. The frustration for the Pens goes on. Our new Dodge second intermission upcoming. The Avalanche getting physical. We'll take a look at that. Barry's analysis of this one. An update on today's Major League Baseball action and whether or not Albert Bell has won another 10-rounder. That's upcoming during our second intermission. Well, not only are the shots there for the Pens, they legitimately have had chances in this game. They haven't been great breakaway chances, but they've been chances. Van Beesbrook gloves that one down, holds it upside of the net. Cleared around by Brett Warner. Not out of the zone yet. Yager on the haul down over there. Lemieux will send it deep. Yager giving chase. Brad Lauer's in front of the net. Yager looking for help. Up is over there to knock it away. Tamer steps up on the near side for Pittsburgh. Jammed up off Tamer's body in the corner. It goes on. Brad Lauer there for the Pens. Murphy pushing it along the boards with him. Lord Murphy, Yager waiting. Yager digging out. Wraparound chance. Rolled in front. Never ended up with a shot. 3-on-3 the other way. Fitzgerald. And he'll send it down, and they'll head for the chain.
Always traffic in the slot in front of John Van Beesbrook because the Panthers sag back down. They collapse. They will give you the point shots. The Penguins have really been reluctant to go for the point shots in this series. They seem really intent on trying to get it right into the doorstep on John Van Beesbrook.
And as a result, you saw no shots in 11 minutes for Pittsburgh. Lemieux tried to roll it in, didn't get anything on it as it was blocked by Cartner, and just went wide of Van Beesbrook on the short side. Lemieux on the near side puts the hit on. Lemieux tried to dig that one out. That long reach, he got hit by Cartner, freed it up back for Lemieux, but Van Beesbrook will cover before Lemieux can get there as he got knocked down. Complaining to the referee, Don Koharski.
Get through one layer, there is another layer right there. Seaweed everywhere. Here's Terry Cartner. That is the matchup. Number 2 red against 66 white that Doug McLean wants. Get a little piece of him. Hand him off to somebody else. Gord Murphy over there now trying to freeze the puck. Mario Lemieux finally gets it off the board. Back to the other layer. Terry Cartner there to take him. The Florida Panthers, more than any team I've ever seen and better than any team, hand people off one to the other in their defensive assignments better than anybody. Most teams play man-to-man. The Panthers, Cartner will take him, hand him off to Murphy. Murphy will take him, hand him off to Fitzgerald. There's always another layer there.
And no holes, no seams. John Van Beesbrook has made the save on all 20 shots so far. Face-offs. Penguins with a little advantage there. Mario Lemieux and Nedved have won some draws for him here. This one back to Daniel. Shot deflected wide. Diving through the middle. Dietzick tried to center. Twice blocked by Cartner. Cartner bangs that one off the end of his stick near side. Millenby's able to clear it out of the zone. 2:13 to go. Second period. Nedved starts the other way again. Nedved in. He takes the shot. Didn't get it on net. Dietzick couldn't get there. Cartner cleared it up. Hit the glass. Came right back to the face-off dot, though. Chased down by Nedved. Nedved. Dietzick is set up in front of the net. J.J. Daniel joined the play. Gone down low. Shot. Dietzick tried to tip it. Just couldn't get a stick on it. Went wide. Mellenby cleared it. It'll be an icing call coming up here on the Panthers. And it'll stop the clock with 1:46 left.
hearts are beating faster and faster as this game wears down. There's Ronnie Francis on the left with Eddie Johnston. Ronnie Francis, would he be a valuable man to have in a 7th game? This is when you miss a guy like Ronnie Francis the most, but at least he's behind the bench and can say to Eddie Johnston, look, here's a suggestion in certain situations, so at least he can contribute in that sense. But these are the only players remaining from the '92 Stanley Cup Championship team, and the man in the middle is not in the lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kenny Regan is in the lineup, but not playing. He is backing up Tom Barrasso.
What numbers he's put up. You see that save percentage, 2nd best in the playoffs, and that goals against is 5th best, and he's the backup goaltender. With Tom Barrasso in net. Minute 46 remaining here in the 2nd period. Mario Lemieux won another faceoff. Yager battling behind the net with Paul Laws. Yager. Sandstrom's out there now with Yager and Lemieux. Sandstrom trying to center. Huff was there. Huff clears it off and out of there. 1-0 lead for the Panthers. Huff the goal. It came in the 1st period, an even strength goal. That's all there is up there. Sprudlin and Spela had the assists on it. It came at 13-13. 2 lucky 13s right now for the Panthers. Set back. Spela comes back to help out. A minute 14 left in the period. Cleared out. It was tipped away from the point by Garpenlov. Zubov. Tamer teamed up defensively. Pittsburgh changing up. Lauer on the far side. Fitzgerald. They do battle against the boards right in front of the bench. Barrasso with a minute left to go in the period. Looking up. Smolinski's there. Smolinski drops it off. Miller down the middle. Miller backhand chance. Van Beesbrook save. Rebound is loose. Never went in, and the net came off in any event. Throwing the whistle.
Hope Kevin Miller's all right. Boy, he went into the post hard.
No penalty here.
Great chance, though, by Kevin Miller, and he created it with his speed. It looked as if the rebound was coming loose, but John Van Beesbrook doesn't really give many rebounds, does he? The one opening that was on the ice surface was right there between Spela and Kartner, and Kevin Miller was able to get to it. The rebound, he caught it with his skate and put it right back into John Van Beesbrook's pad. He was forced to the backhand by Terry Kartner. Good defensive play, and he got a decent shot away for a guy that was falling. Then he hooked the rebound with his skate. Still couldn't do it.
Almost had one reminiscent of that disputed goal in the last game in Miami.
Exactly.
Good chance for Miller cutting down the middle using the great wheels that he has.
And it was during a change. I mean, virtually the only time to get the Panthers confused or maybe to get a seam is coming off the bench so that there's a split-second delay and then figuring out their coverage.
That is the first shot Pittsburgh has had in 12 minutes and 58 seconds. Wow. Tip back through the middle. J.J. Daniel comes back to get it. They're looking at the time remaining here in the 2nd period. Game 7. The winner will face the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Finals. And the loser will watch. Nedved along the near side boards. Only the 2nd Game 7 of this season. Detroit, of course, with the other one against St. Louis that went into double overtime. And a penalty coming up here. Getting dunked was Glenn Murray of Pittsburgh. The holding call will go against the Panthers with 21 seconds left to go in the 2nd period. Power play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Want to remind you, Formula One Grand Prix of Spain is coming up tomorrow morning for auto racing fans at 7:50 a.m. You will see this one on the Deuce. The best of Formula One's racers. Right now, the leader is Damon Hill in points. Catch it tomorrow morning on the Deuce, the Grand Prix of Spain. Really was a beautiful day, about 80 degrees. You're looking at a live shot now as the temperature's gone down to about 70 outside tonight. They've kept the arena very cold, though, in here today. Ice looks like it's holding up pretty well. Gord Murphy goes on the hold. 1938, 4th power play of the game.
Now, when the Panthers get a lead on you, they can make you feel like you're playing on bad ice, though.
For Pittsburgh, their power play must be effective. They are going to get in this game. Lemieux is working out at a point right now. There he is in the middle. His shot deflected. Rebound shot kicked by Sandstrom over the glass as it was blocked. And last touch by Panther stick. We'll wait and see where they decide the faceoff is. It'll stay in the zone.
The one man that the Panthers have to honor on the power play wherever he is obviously Mario Lemieux. When he's out at the blue line, they move right out to him. That means there's a huge space in behind whoever's coming out. See that stick on the left? and that was Brian Skrudland. So if somebody moves into that hole that's created by the coverage moving towards Lemieux, they'll be able to generate a scoring chance because Mario Lemieux's presence will be honored no matter where he is on the perimeter.
Chance here with the puck going off Cartner's stick. There you see the face-off advantage for Pittsburgh. Nedved will take the draw. They've got Sandstrom and Lemieux in the middle here in the slot area. Zubov back of the point. Nedved refusing to square up. He wants to draw it back on the forehand. Back to Zubov, and he does. Zubov dumped it in front. Backhand Nedved deflected wide. Van Beesbrook with the stick down. Nedved holds it in. Jágr the shot. That's blocked by Svela into the seats. And this period is over. A minute 38 left on the power play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The team that finished second best in the East and fourth best overall has found an opponent that will not give ground. And the Panthers are one period away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers won, Pittsburgh nothing. Huff's got the only goal. John and Barry.
Indeed, in just their third year of existence, 20 minutes away from the Stanley Cup Final. A lot of coaches have different philosophies. Some will say, well, they've got great players. We're just going to play our style. It doesn't matter what. Others will say, we're not letting your best beat us, and that's what's happening here.
This is like a baseball game, John. What you got here is Florida's decided not to let the 3 and 4 hitters beat them, Mario and Jágr. It's going to take the later order, the down 7, 8, 9 batters to beat them. Sandstrom's got to come up. Zubov's got to come up. Miller's got to come up. Guys like that, because they're not going to let Mario and Jágr get any room to score those beautiful goals. So let's have the foot soldiers. Maybe a roach kick in a goal, which he did against New York.
All right, when we do the baseball segment, you'll be taking care of that. Continue
waiting for World Cup soccer.
Of the new Dodge intermission report. We'll stick around for a couple years. That'll be around. When we come back, we will take a look at the Colorado Avalanche once again as they await the winner of this one.
Overtime to the corner. Jansen, Robitaille. Seven cuts in front. They score! They score! Wayne Gretzky wins it for Los Angeles.
And what you don't see in that shot is Barry Melrose jumping up and down on the bench,
very high
onto the ice. What's it feeling like?
John, it's the greatest feeling in the world. One of these coaches is going to have a memory he'll remember for the rest of his life, tell his grandchildren, grandchildren, no matter how long he lives. The other coach is going to feel like crap.
Good choice of words. It's a nice adjective. All right, we're back with the new Dodge intermission report as we find out which team is not going to feel like crap heading into the finals to face the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche have done it with a lot of skills. Yeah. We talked about those great players, but they're also extremely physical, and that's what got it done. One of the things they've changed, John, is they've become much more physical in their forechecking. This has created a lot of chances for them. Do a lot of bumping, forechecking because of their great speed. Kaminsky comes in, takes the defenseman off the puck, get a great chance. It goes to Deadmarch, and Krupp has a great shot from the point. Doesn't result in a goal in this chance, but it will later on in the game. And again, same thing here. Yell comes in, takes the body on right around there, comes up to the point, back behind the net, out in front to my old buddy Warren Reichel off the shaft of his stick. A great Warren Reichel goal, but as you see, they skate very well, so they use that skating to go in and knock some bodies around. Second man jumps on a loose puck, throws it in the crease, throws it in the slot area. That's how you get it. So fast teams can also play a very physical game. Also big on defense, which wears down the forwards as well. Very big on defense. Krupp, Foote, Ozelich is 6'3". Very big team defensively. A lot like Pittsburgh in that situation. They got big D that skate very well. All right, Mike Ricci is on that team and a big part of getting them there. He, of course, started out with the Philadelphia Flyers, part of an outstanding 1990 draft. Owen Nolan, of course, now with San Jose, was #1. Peter Nedved, who's bounced around now on his 4th team as he tries to get to the Stanley Cup Final with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Keith Primo still with Detroit. Keith Primo played for Barry Melrose as well in Adirondack. Mike Ricci now with the Avalanche, and Jaromir Jágr as the 5th pick. That might surprise some people. Well, it surprises people. What happened that year, people got to realize all 4 of those guys, Nedved came over from Czechoslovakia, defected when he was 16-year-old, played in Seattle in the Western Hockey League. All 4 of the top 4 picks played in junior hockey in Canada. Jágr was an unknown. He was in Europe. People knew how great he was. They might have thought he was the most talented man in the draft, but he was a dangerous pick because they don't know about him. The other guys were playing 100 games a year, playing against great competition. They knew what those 4 could do. Jágr was the unknown, the hard pick, the not safe pick. They picked the 4 great Canadian kids that played in junior, and Jágr went 5th, who was the best player in the draft. Yeah, Jágr, the dangerous pick. Now he's just playing dangerous, and that's what they'll be looking for in the 3rd period, as the Florida Panthers are now just 20 minutes away from joining the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 2. Our coverage begins Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time.
Tonight's intermission report is presented by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead.
question. What do you call hockey when the ice melts?
Roller Hockey International. All the action, polar ice.
20 minutes from the last piece of the puzzle, or 20 minutes from overtime. We'll have more analysis from Barry Melrose, and we'll look forward to the third period. It's 1-0 right now, and John Van Beesbrook, a big reason why. 1-0, Florida has the lead. First, more of the New Dodge intermission report. You talked about how Florida's stopping the Stars. How are they stopping these guys?
Well, they're doing it with gang tackling. They're not going to let Mario and Yager beat them, so they're doing it with 2 or 3 guys. As you see here, great coverage here. Jovanovski's right on Yager's back the way he should be, follows him up the board. But here's the key. Jovanovski's got Yager. Lindsay sees that. He comes right down. The minute he sees Yager's in trouble. But the key are the boards. That's the third man. He can't go that direction. Yager should go back with the puck. Jovanovski knows he should go back with the puck. Lindsay knows that also, so they force him. They try and stop him. Yager tries to go back. Poke check by Jovanovski up the wall. Earlier in the period, same thing happened. This is a power play. Miller dropped it to Mario. Look at this. Attack from one side right there. Attack from the other side right there. Mario's got the boards behind him, so he can't go that direction. They know that. They both attack him. Mario ends up giving the puck up. Turnover and the puck's down. Attack him. Make them make a play in a hurry. Make them make a bad play.
Yeah, as a result, they have a 1-0 lead. And as we've mentioned, 20 minutes away from erasing that Penguins here on your screen and having just the Panthers and the Avalanche. Our coverage begins 7:30 on Thursday. That's with game number 2. Game 1 is on Fox. Bill Lindsay gets turned away by Barrasso. It's a tight one.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup Playoffs is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. And by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead.
Welcome back, everybody, at Game 7. Only the 86th time that it has happened. What is the likelihood of this ending up 1-0? There have been 11 Game 7 shutouts in the history of the NHL. There have been only 3 Game 7s that have ended up 1-0. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, welcome back. We started talking about 2 big stars in this game. We start there again for the third.
They are not shining, Gary, but it's not because of lack of effort. Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr must be the 2 most frustrated hockey players in the history of the game here in Game 7 going into the third period against the Panthers, because they have not had much success at all. You take a look at what has happened to Lemieux and Jagr. Their last goal for both of them, Game 2 of this series, that spans almost 5 games now that they have not scored. In this hockey game, 2 shots for Mario, 3 shots for Jaromir Jagr. That's it for offense. No goals, no assists, just shots. The frustration cannot overcome them, though. They've got 20 minutes to go. They are talented people, but when they've had their scoring chances, they've paid for it with hits. When there have been openings, they have been sealed up by the Florida Panthers, and passes have been cut by the likes of Skrudland and Mike Huff. And Brian Skrudland and Mario Lemieux went nose-to-nose, jawing at one another, and then Warner took Lemieux down. 19-year-old Ed Jovanovski against Jaromir Jagr. That kind of period, that kind of series. Here we go with the third.
Now this is a power play for Pittsburgh. 1:34 right now on the clock on this power play chance. It is their 4th of the game. Neither team has converted on their first 3 power play chances. The house is rocking. A goal here changes the complexion of the game. That side, Sandstrom, great save. Lemieux, another save. Rebound right through the crease. Jaromir Jagr was there, couldn't tip it. Held in Nedved. Back over to Jagr. Pittsburgh on the power play. Trailing 1-0. Third period, Game 7. The winner goes to Denver. Left side, Zubov looking. Sends it over to Lemieux. Lemieux centered. Sandstrom didn't see that one coming. Zubov dumps it back in behind the net. Spela coming back to get it, so's Lemieux. Spela pushes it up the near side boards past Lemieux, and it's cleared out of there by Brian Skrudland. Barrasso holds it up at the other end. Down to 43 seconds left on the Pittsburgh power play. Jagr almost got stripped of it. Nedved there to help off the boards. Nobody over here. And it'll be chased down the other way by Barrasso. Barrasso will back it up. Fitzgerald read it. Chases on the far side. Leaves it in the corner. Lindsay moved over. Pittsburgh will get it back. Jagr, Lemieux stay out there in the power play. Near side for Jagr. Jagr cutting. Jagr. Shot rolled to the middle. Lemieux dropped it. Shot. Stop!
the Penguins could score again. It was when they would score again. And they were running out of time in this game. But finally, a high shot to the glove. Peter Nedved wanted the high shot, and he finally got it. Jaromir Jagr's shot was blocked. It was a broken play, and the Penguins will sure take it. Give us anything there, saying give us a break, give us a bounce. The Jagr shot went to Lemieux. Back to Peter Nedved. Zingo. Top corner. 1-1. Finally for the Penguins.
Well, there is that goal that, for the moment, changes the complexion of this game. Now let's see what a finish we've got for you in this Game 7. Game is tied at 1-1. The power play goal for Pittsburgh, 1 for 4. It came on their 25th shot of the game. Sent back into the Panthers' end. Nedved gets his 3rd of this series. It is his 10th of the playoff season. Lemieux and Jagr got assists at 1:23 on the power play goal here in the 3rd period. On the far side, it is held in by Smolinski. Dietzig centered it right off. Van Beesbrook sticking out to center. Gunned back in by Wilkinson around the boards. Dietzig was still in the zone, so Pittsburgh will use the chance to clear. Near side, Garpenlove into the corner. J.J. Daigneault goes back to get it. Daigneault got it out through the middle. Gord Murphy is back there. Panthers want to clear. Knocked down by J.J. Daigneault. Right back up on the near side by Murray. Sends it into the corner. Nedved was trying to cut for it. Van Beesbrook came up to play it. Tip pass. Murray over there. Puck checked it away. Sandstrom had it. Lost it as Murphy drove it to center. Daigneault sends it right back in. Behind the net, Van Beesbrook hangs on. What sports are all about. And you get these kind of games and this kind of a performance by two outstanding teams. Centered. Murray dropped it off. Inside. Waiting. Lemieux shot. Van Beesbrook a big save. Mario Lemieux held it. Tried to get Van Beesbrook out of position and couldn't do it.
And as he held it, he lost his angle. There was traffic in front. Lemieux decided to go to the sharper angle, and Van Beesbrook just waited.
Here is Lowry. Lowry dumps it into the corner. Barnes chasing with Tamer there. Tamer had it knocked away. Lemieux stays out. Mario Lemieux moving it up. Jagr in the middle. Jagr's got it. It's a 3-4-on-3 now. Jagr backhands at Lemieux at the far side off that rebound. Back behind the net, Lauer. Jagr's in front. Jagr comes in to help. Jagr, Lauer, and Lemieux for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh rejuvenated by that goal. But the Panthers will keep playing the way they have all year. Shot Tamer. Save Van Beesbrook with Lemieux standing in front. Game 7, the way it ought to be. 1-1.
We'll take a look at the Penguins' goal. Watch what happens here between Peter Nedved and Bill Lindsay. Lindsay down. Nedved continues. We'll stop it right here. Jagr with the puck. Watch Dave Roche hold the stick, and then watch his skate. He actually is able to deflect it over right there to Lemieux, to Nedved. Bang. 1-1.
And they are rocking here. Face-off one back in on Van Beesbrook, who clears it up himself out of the zone. Lindsay giving chase. Couldn't get through Neil Wilkinson. Shot up off the glass near side. Delayed offside call coming. Free out here for the Pens. Roach on the far side gets it out of the zone, avoiding the whistle. Back into the middle. Panthers turn it right around. Lindsay again. His shot wide on the short side. Rebounded deep. Roach has got it. Smolinski in front. Smolinski, Miller, and Roach. Roach on the far side. Hit shot. Van Beesbrook with a glove. 1-1 game. Darren Pang.
Well, as you talked about too, Bill, with the bounces in front of John Van Beesbrook, and we talked earlier in the game about Peter Nedved telling me this morning that he wants to go high, but you said it best, they don't get those opportunities very often. That was a prime scoring opportunity right inside the hash marks, and the thing about Nedved, he's one of the best in the game at getting up very, very quickly. Van Beesbrook had no chance on that.
No, and it's because, Darren, as you mentioned, he's got the stick for it. It's kind of like an 8-iron, not quite as much as a 9-iron, but his blade is tilted back and open so that he can get it up quickly in places like this. And Paul Laus had no chance to get in front of it. You don't get many free ones like that, but it came because of a broken play. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, especially when you're playing against the Panthers.
There you see the shots. Pittsburgh 6-zip here to start this period. 4 minutes having been played on that shot total. A 1-1 game. Lowry tipped it away. Mike Huff, who has the Panther goal moving in. Zubov cuts him off along the boards. Tomas Sandstrom kicked at that. Nedved dives again. Can't get it by. Dump back in behind the net. Tom Barrasso. Lowry there to block it. Dave Lowry trying to center. Had Huff out in front. Huff goes to the corner. Nedved poked it away. Sandstrom out of the zone. Giving chase Glenn Murray. Murray had it batted away by Rhett Warner. And the Panthers will change it up on the fly right here. Skrulin moves it in. Skrulin with Garpenlov cutting. Skrulin the shot. Went behind Garpenlov, who was coming down that right wing side as a trailer. Lemieux the other way. Lemieux moving. Lemieux. Poke checked away from him. Great back checking job done by that man right there, Martin Straka. Straka leads the charge. Straka in. Straka the shot. It'll be knocked down and held onto by Barrasso. Stanley Cup Finals. One of these teams will go to face the Avalanche in the final round of 96. Fox will have the first game from Denver on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. ESPN will begin our coverage on Thursday. Our pregame quest for the Cup show at 7:30 on Thursday, and then game 2 on ESPN at 8.
Still looking for a hero. 7 games into this, we are still looking for a hero. Ed Jovanovski might not get a chance to be the hero. As long as this game is tied or the Panthers are ahead, a third period for a 19-year-old kid. Lindy Ruff changes the defenseman. He said it will depend on how he plays. If he looks rock solid, there's Lindy. Said, I'll take a chance with him. I'll go with the kid. Man, that is a tough call to make with a 19-year-old defenseman right now.
Who has played so strong and so hard for so long for this team. J.J. Daniel sent it out into the middle. Lemieux and Jágr again are right back out there. Here's Straka leading the charge. Straka takes the shot. Then a save made by Barrasso. Boy, he had a couple of Panthers cutting through the middle. Jágr comes the other way. Jágr moves it in. Jágr turns, drops it off. Lemieux. Mario Lemieux to Jágr. Jágr the shot. Van Beesbrook the save. No rebound.
Brian Smolinski is the third forward that is out there with Lemieux and Jágr. You know, if you're the third man, and you can only be considered the third man, one thing, go to the net. 66 and 68 will make the plays go to the net, because sooner or later, that's where it's got to end up. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter what your name is. They don't need you in the playmaking. Brian Engblom.
Yeah, you know, guys, the second and third line players for the Pittsburgh Penguins really should take a page out of the book from the Florida Panthers. Those guys don't have any stars. Whenever they get a chance, they go like heck, and they all seem to have a lot of confidence. Until this goal was scored by Peter Nedved, nobody in Pittsburgh looked like they had any confidence. But it's time for those second and third line guys to step it up.
Jovanovski, the 19-year-old we were talking about, he's out there. Off the face-off, back in behind the net, there he be, Jovanovski. Murray was all over him, left it behind the net for Laws. Up on the forecheck is Nedved, cleared up off the dasher, distance, icing call coming.
And it's a chance for Lindy Ruff and Doug McLean to get Jovanovski out there when Lemieux and Jágr have just left the ice. So as long as Lemieux and Jágr are on the same line, it's going to make it easier for the coaching staff to make sure they continue to roll their 6 defensemen, continue to roll their 4 lines. Lindy Ruff is so proud of his young guys, as he should be. That is what the coaching staff talks most about and longest and hardest about, is how proud they are of their players.
Well, this Pittsburgh team averaged 4.41 goals a game during the regular season. Against Florida, that has been reduced by 2 goals a game. 2.33 is all Pittsburgh's been able to do against the Panthers. Shot, Wilkinson, save made again. Van Beesbrook kicks it away to the near side. Lowry flips that one out of the zone. Chased down there again by Nedved, looking up ice, dropped it in the middle. Sandstrom, Murray on the far side. Murray was in way ahead of the play. And that'll draw the whistle. 14-13 left to go in the third period to decide who faces Colorado in the Stanley Cup Finals. Our exclusive coverage here on ESPN in Pittsburgh at the Igloo, where Huff and Nedved have the goals to make this 1-1. Delighted to have you with us, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement upstairs. Darren Pang, Brian Engblom down at ice level. All of our crew here for the moments sports fans love to watch and broadcasters love to do. Game 7. Face-off will come outside the line on the draw. It'll be won by Fitzgerald. Smolinski giving chase. Got knocked down. No call here. Ron Koharski may very well let more go here as they move into the final 10 minutes of this third period. Played around the net. Wilkinson, Roach. Roach drops it in the middle up front. Trying to get it ahead to Smolinski. He'll bang it in. Kevin Miller was following. Got cut off. Murphy there with Roach on him. Gordon Murphy turns to the near side boards. Murphy gets it out of there. We're 1-1. Shots 30-20 in favor of the Pens. Score! is 2-1 Panthers.
Stunned. The Penguins have to be stunned. The momentum was coming back their way. This hit the defenseman. It hit something. It dropped on top of Barrasso. But guess what? The shot is the potential goal. Here's Fitzgerald. He wants to drift along one. There it looked like it hit the stick and dropped, or either it sailed on him. But it was a terrific shot by Tommy Fitzgerald. Don't take anything away from him on the shot. He ripped it. And Barrasso, whether it was dropping or knuckling or whatever, there was so much speed on it, he couldn't react to it. Oh, look at the hug from Bill Lindsay. I love you, man. And if we can hang on for 13:42, we're going to the finals. And that's the time that is separating the Penguins from finishing their year.
Tom Fitzgerald, an enormous goal. He now has 3 goals in this series. Murphy gets the assists at 6:18. Tom Fitzgerald's had 3 goals in the playoffs this year, and they all have come in this series against Pittsburgh. And it is a 2-1 Panther lead. And again, the Panthers able to come up big. They quiet the house, and they force Pittsburgh again to have to come out and be the driving force. Near side, Zubov. Again, Jágr and Lemieux are out there, intercepted. Tamer will come back to get it after Garpenlov had cut it off. The Panthers 2 goals on 21 shots in this game. Intercepted Garpenlov. Garpenlov going behind the net. Lauer. Wrap around. Mike Huff centered on. It's covered up. Barrasso. No, rolls wide. Struggling was out there banging away at it. And Barrasso couldn't get the handle. Changing up the Panthers behind the play. Mario Lemieux stays out, intended for Jágr. Great play by Cartner. Back checking, blocked the pass. Cartner's done that more than once in this game on Mario Lemieux attempting to center Jágr.
He's used his stick so well. When Lemieux tries to pass it softly is when Cartner has time to cut it.
And he's done that. The Panthers with a 2-1 lead. 12:30 left to go, 3rd period. Cleared around by Zubov. Sandstrom. Sandstrom up with Lemieux, and on the near side, Glenn Murray. Murray moves it in. His shot, Van Beesbrook. And he'll hang on.
Saves by John Van Beesbrook. But at the other end, Tom Fitzgerald's long blast, a little bit of a flutter ball, somehow, some way, has given the Panthers a 2-1 lead.
Got a lot of shots tonight from the USX Tower, and that is that tower building with the Penguin emblazoned in lights on the side. And when you get to the top of the building and look down here in downtown Pittsburgh, that's the view you get. And there's the Igloo not very far away, where a heck of a performance is being put on here tonight by these 2 teams. And the Panthers have the 2-1 lead with 12:20 to go here in the 3rd period. Mario Lemieux again. Lemieux the shot right off the side of the net with Murphy down on the ice. And Beesbrook reaching over him in order to hang on to that.
Good play by Gord Murphy. He took the pass away. Mario had one option that disappeared, and then John Van Beesbrook had the post squeezed off. No options for Mario Lemieux. All you want to try to do is limit his options, and that time they took them both away. 24 minutes. That is why you see Mario Lemieux resting on his knees, to open his lungs, to try to get air in, to try to stay alive here with 12 minutes to go in the game.
He's got to play now. Jágr back out there with him. Jágr looking in front. Lemieux trying to tip. Brett Warner again was there to pick his stick up. Mironov dropped it in front. Jágr shot. Saved by Van Beesbrook.
Jaromir Jágr down on one knee. He has to be going through this I can't believe it stage. How about Rob Niedermayer's comments on his goaltender, John Van Beesbrook?
He's just been exceptional. He's really he's the backbone of our team right now. He makes all the big saves for us. If we make a mistake, he's there to back us up and kind of save our butts a little bit. And I mean, he's just been great. He's been a big reason why we're here.
Niedermayer, just 21 years old, another one of the youngsters on this Panthers team, relying on their 32-year-old netminder. See the number of shots he's faced and stopped here in this series. Niedermayer, the man who was talking about him. A 2-1 lead for the Panthers. Exactly 12 minutes left to go in regulation in this Game 7. Mario Lemieux out on the face-off, kicked away by Fitzgerald, who's got the go-ahead goal in this game. On the near side, Runoff blocked it. Miller's shot deflects to the corner. Svela got it up to Garpenlov, who clears the zone. Fitzgerald coming in at 2-on-2. Now 2-on-3. Lindsay in. Lindsay a shot. Barrasso the save. Barrasso plays it up. Needs it cleared it out of the zone. Mario Lemieux reaching in, could not get to that one. And the Panthers will send it back up ice. Lindsay driving it deep and then following it in. Pittsburgh changing it up on the fly. Legic sends it ahead for Miller. Svela was there to knock it away again. Pittsburgh was changing, so their D just coming on the ice. We're back there. Barnes trying to hold it in, could not. Zubov turns it the other way. 3 back though for the Panthers. Left over for Glenn Murray. Murray's got Svela on him. Svela picked up by Nedved. Nedved turning it back. Nedved looking. Zubov was cutting on the far side and got caught down low. But there's good coverage back. Lowry in. Lowry looking to the middle, trying to center, had it blocked. And Zubov will clear it out. Good play by Chris Tamer that time defensively. There's Tamer still out there for the Pens. Tamer drops it off to Zubov. Zubov in the middle. Murray's pass deflected away at center by Loss. Pittsburgh gets back onside. Zubov sends it in. And Beesbrook held it behind the net. The Panthers up by 1. 10:34 to go in the third period. The winner going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Panthers in just their 3rd season trying to get it done here tonight. Smolinski cuts the net. Shot wide on Van Beesbrook. Smolinski behind the net center. Fanned on by Miller. Drop pass on the wide side by Damian Miller. That deflects to the near side corner on his shot. Dumped again in front. Couldn't get the stick on it. Miller was cutting. Van Beesbrook with the blocker. Dumps it behind the net. Roach set up in front. Wilkinson a wraparound chance. Blocked by Murphy. Murphy blocked the centering pass. Pittsburgh the pressure. Back in front. It rolls through. Smolinski had moved up. Couldn't get the puck. Barrasso plays it to Wilkinson. Fan wanted a call. Down low. Won't get it. Sent in by Kevin Miller. Mellenby goes back in behind the net. Panthers up 2-1. Fitzgerald, the go-ahead goal after Pittsburgh had come back with a power play goal here in the 3rd period to tie it up. Panthers looking for a little room. Tamer knocks it down at center. Tamer sends it back in. Yager and Lemieux are right back out there again. Behind the net, Yager blocked the attempted clear. Now Lemieux moves in. Lowry came over to help. Gets knocked down behind the play. Straka brings it out. Martin Straka with Niedermeyer the trailer. Straka had poke checked away, but not out of the zone. Straka in front. Pass was deflected to the near side corner, though, before it got to him. Again, Tamer was there. Niedermeyer trying to hold it in. Lowry gets knocked down by Mellenby. Taken back behind the net by Tamer. His wraparound comes to Yager out of the zone. Couldn't control. Sits there at center. Mellenby taken down. He and Lowry collided. Hit put on Niedermeyer by Tamer. Tamer gets it out. Yager looking up. Lemieux cheating a little bit. And Beesbrook plays the puck with Lemieux moving in. Carter got it off the center. Yager took it away. Lemieux swept it back towards the red line. Fitzgerald picks that one up. Sends it in wide. Tom Barrasso. Barrasso will hang on. 8 minutes, 39 seconds remaining. Tom Fitzgerald. The 2nd goal for Florida came at 6:18. They're ahead. Only 3 teams left in the chase for the cup, and 2 of them are here. The Avalanche are home, waiting. One of these teams has got to head to Denver. After this game, Panthers 2-1, 8:39 left, 3rd period. 33-23 the shots in favor of Pittsburgh, but that has been that way much of this series. Pittsburgh with the advantage in shots, but they have not been able to convert on enough of them to have ended the series, and the Panthers' toughness continues. Smolinski in. Van Beesbrook knocks it down, draws it back in, and hangs on.
And he will do that. John Van Beesbrook. Brian Smolinski made the smart play getting it to the net. If you can get a little lower so it's in the pads, you've got a rebound chance coming at you. But John Van Beesbrook's glove has been as good as any goaltender's glove in the NHL this season, and in the playoffs, well, no weakness. The thing about John Van Beesbrook, which makes him so terrific, is that there is no exploitable weakness in his game. You can say, yes, I want to go high. We've talked about that. Sometimes he stands up. He doesn't give you high. If you're waiting for him to be out of position, you're going to get real old while you're waiting. There is no weakness that the Penguins have been able to exploit.
Van Beesbrook, his 14th NHL season, 3rd with Florida, selected in the expansion draft as their netminder. And what a decision that has proven to be. Yager in center, shot deflected wide. Remember that one. to tying this game up.
Oh, man, and then everything closed off. No chance at a second one. I think Mario's still jawing. Oh, he's talking to Don Koharski. I thought it was Garpenlov, but I think he was saying something to Don Koharski. Excellent chances for Lemieux and Jágr, who've played an incredible amount of hockey together on one line. Eddie Johnston has decided to allow his two star players to get it done together on the ice. Jágr swept in, picked it up, got it to Mario Lemieux, and if that didn't go off his heel, I don't know what it went off of. I wonder if Tommy Fitzgerald didn't get a little piece of that.
He was waiting right at the doorstep on that corner post. He stays out. Mario Lemieux again out on the face-off. Won the draw into the corner. Leads it, kicking it in behind the net. Stala cleared it around. Lemieux's tied up in a punching match in front with Skrudland. Stala puts the hit on, and both of them are going to go.
He had to call it, Gary. I watched it the whole thing. I mean, at some point, Don Koharski had to say, okay, boys, it's getting carried away. I know it's game 7. I know we're down to 7:58. But Brian Skrudland and Mario Lemieux were waging their own mini war while the battle was going on around them. Wow. Brian Skrudland, after the faceoff, took over and stayed with Mario Lemieux. And it's a big job. But watch the strength of Lemieux push Skrudland over, then kind of get on top of him. It doesn't end here. When they got up, they started punching each other. There's a punch by Mario when he was down, and the shove. Another shot. The cuff to the back of the head by Brian Skrudland, and the little why I oughta by Mario when finally the punch. But I don't know that Don Koharski had another option there.
Had to do something.
Yes, sir.
And the Panthers will take this exchange.
No question about it. With Mario Lemieux in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Now, Mario could use the rest. But if he rested for a minute, he'd be back out there before this penalty would expire. Jaromir Jágr got hammered on the same shift. But the Panthers have never let up with the body. Roberts, Fela, same respect, none.
We go 4-on-4. The matching minors at 12:02. So Lemieux will sit for 2 minutes, along with Skrudland. Only 7:58 left in the third period.
We knew this was a series about a team that wanted skating room, the Penguins, versus a team in red that wanted to play it in the trenches. That last exchange between Skrudland and Mario Lemieux will pretty well tell you where the majority of this series has been played, in the trenches.
4-on-4. Barnes and Smolinski. Smolinski won the draw. The point shot. Van Beesbrook the save and hangs on. It bounced a little. There was no rebound for Smolinski on the point shot taken by Zubov. Take a look at our Visa storyline. Tom Fitzgerald, the go-ahead goal, is third of the playoffs, all in this series. Jaromir Jágr and Lemieux have an assist each. All-time Game 7 records. Florida, first time ever. Pitt's 3-3.
Our Visa replay. Tom Fitzgerald's blast from the point that fooled Tom Barrasso. Jink, jink. Charge that one to your Visa card. It's 2-1.
Centering pass for Miller. Kicked away. Smolinski. And Beesbrook knocked that one away before Miller could get to it. Smolinski and Miller both there. Miller's got a grab Warner on him. Miller turns back to the middle, trying to line up beforehand. Lowry picks it up. 4-on-4. 7:37 to go. Game 7, third period. Dumped into the zone by the Panthers. Miller comes back to get it. Eddie Johnston trying to get the speed of Kevin Miller out on the ice here with his 4-on-4. A little more room to maneuver. Smolinski guarded by Lowry. He'll have to tip it in. Zubov did.
You know the Penguins will counter right now with Lemieux, or at least with Jágr and Peter Nedved when they get a chance to get them out there.
Knocked away at center by Nedved, coming back to get it. Nedved turns it up. Panthers were changing. Nedved just had that one get away from him. Gordon Murphy was there. And it'll be sent in by Garpenlov. Barrasso goes back to get it. Had trouble with that. Jágr came back to help cover. Jágr dropped it in the middle. Nedved's on the left. J.J. Daniel, the defenseman, leads the charge. And offside, Jágr in the near wing.
Barely, but offside. It's where you have to try to drag the leg. J.J. Daniel is going to penetrate on the far side. But the offside has blown it down for the Penguins. They have had virtually no sustained attack in this hockey game. And here's what Jaromir Jágr said about Game 7s. And he said this before Game 6. Seventh games are killers. I hate to play seventh games. Everybody forgets what you did in the series before the game before. Everybody remembers Game 7. You can be a hero or a 0.
Mario Lemieux said before Game 6, we're going to play this like Game 7. Well, now what? It is Game 7. They didn't win Game 6.
Nope. The rehearsal for the 7th game didn't go that well.
And right now, Florida's got the 2-1 lead here. Back in behind the net, 43 seconds left in the 4-on-4 situation. Yager and Nedved. Nedved the move. Nedved to Yager. Cutting, kicked away, and cleared out. Partner was right with Yager on that. Here comes Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer, shot, save Barrasso. He got a lot on that one. Niedermeyer and Daniel hard into the boards. Both get up. They are all right. Play will go on. Yager stays out. There he is. Yager. Nedved cutting. Yager taken into the boards far side. Lost it center. Shot wide by Nedved. Didn't get much on the deflection. And way wide. Lindsay runs it out of the zone the other way. He got checked off the puck to Yager. 2 back for the Panthers. Yager trying to make a move. Yager backhand tied up Warner. Yager trying to center. Dropped it. Shot wide. Great chance as Yager set up Sandstrom. Zubov back in his own zone. Penalties are over. Lemieux back out. 5-on-5 again. Down to 5:45 to go. Third period, Game 7. The Panthers have the 2-1 lead. They have not trailed in this game. Miller sends it into the corner. Back to get it is Murphy. Tied up. Sandstrom sliding into the boards. Gets up. Puck's right there on his stick. Dropped it off in the middle for Smolinski. Deflected away. And the Panthers clear again. Partner got it up. Pittsburgh deep in their own end. Lowry offside. They never cleared the zone. Shepard was deep.
The Penguins are 1 shot away. That has to be remembered at this stage. The big question, though, is can they get the shot they want? And can they get it from the person they want to take the shot? Can it be a Nedved or a Yager or a Mario Lemieux? They seem to have been able to get close at times in this game, but very, very few terrific scoring chances.
5:19 left on the clock. Huff from Svalin Skrudlin in the first. Here in the third, Nedved, Lemieux and Yager on the power play at 1:23. But Tom Fitzgerald answered from Murphy at 6:18. The even strength. And the Panthers have the 2-1 lead. Panthers trying to get one back. Lowry's cutting to the middle. Lowry and got tied up from behind. Partner trying to kick it deep, could not. Good interception by Barnes. Lemieux was way up ahead of everybody that time. Brought back in. Runoff leaves it near side. Glenn Murray shot off the blocker. Played by Lemieux. Roach behind the net. Roach trying to center. Deflected again up to the point and out. Let the Panthers hop off the boards. J.J. Daniel plays it off the near side. 37-25 the shots. Favor of Pittsburgh, but the Panthers lead it. 4:40 clock ticking away here in this game. Sent back in behind the net by Lauer. Van Beesbrook holds it up. Florida Panthers looking not to make the mistake here. Kuchner got it out. Niedermeyer in the middle. Straka the trailer. Straka to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer center. Puck rolled just wide. Great setup opportunity. Niedermeyer dumped that out in front. Almost. Mellenby was cutting, but he couldn't deflect it. Yager drops it on the wide side. Pittsburgh had too many men on the ice. 2 of them had to go back to the bench in order to avoid the penalty. Centered for Huff. Went behind him. Huff comes back to get the loose puck, though. Huff turns on the near side boards. Tamer reaching in. Back behind the net. Huff wants a wraparound. Couldn't get it. Murphy the shot. Save made off the blocker of Barrasso. Mellenby dumps it behind the net. Played back there by Skrudlin. Skrudlin. Huff out in front. Skrudlin comes. The shot. Deflected. Goes to the corner. Over to get it. Zubov. Zubov up. Out through center is Yager. Yager turns to the middle. Yager in. Yager trying to dangle. Can't. Puck checked away near side. Good play again. Brett Warner. Skrudlin. Runoff do battle. And we played by Pitt. Only 3:29 to go. This is Game 7. This is for the right to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers, in their 3rd year of existence, are trying to do that here tonight and are up 2-1. J.J. Daniel from behind the net. Pittsburgh fans trying to rev it up for their team. Smolinski dropped in Glenn Murray. Save made. Van Beesbrook again with a solid glove. Three minutes, 8 seconds left in this Game 7. Well, edge up a little closer if you want. We are. A 2-1 Game 7. He'll be out there most of the rest of it.
He has had an incredible amount of ice time, has come oh so close so many times. And Tommy Fitzgerald is going to play a lot of the last 3 minutes and 8 seconds as well. Watch for the Penguins to have 3 forecheckers. They've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 minutes, standing right up on the play deep in the Panthers zone. If the Panthers defenseman can get it by Sandstrom, can get it by Jágr, they're going to be able to break out very easily. If they turn it over, the Penguins will get that scoring chance they're looking for.
3 minutes and 8 seconds left to go. Face off to the left of Van Beesbroek. Late changes here for the Pens. With Lemieux waiting to take the face off, they bring Daniel back out. Kartner was going over to the bench here, just drawing a little breath. John Van Beesbroek has made 37 saves in this game. Just one by him on a power play. Panthers have had 2 even strength goals in this game. Strudlin won a big face-off against Lemieux. Cleared around. Fitzgerald able to poke it out of the zone. It'll be played back. Pens. Lemieux cutting. Rolls all the way in on Van Beesbroek. Chooses to go to the boards and gets it out. Daniel back. Run off on the near side. Lindsay moves up on him. Dump to Jágr. Jágr comes back at the red. Jágr drops it off. Moranov looking. Sandstrom's in the middle. Drop pass. Roll there to Lindsay. 2-on-1 the other way. Lindsay moving it back. Still a 2-on-1. Lindsay drops a shot. And score! It is 3-1. The Panthers take the lead, and Garpenlov deserved it. He has played a great game, and in the 2-on-1, he bangs it home.
The Mission Impossible Florida Panthers. Johan Garpenlov finished off the 2-on-1. We knew the Penguins were playing high-risk hockey. They had to play high-risk hockey. They were down by a goal. What happens when it backfires? You give up 2-on-1s. Boy, oh boy. Mironov had pinched in. Billy Lindsay on the breakout. Watch what he does. Heads right to the boards. J.J. Daniel went with them. That opened it up. And Tommy Barrasso almost made a miracle save. That looked like it hit the shaft of his stick above the blocker glove, but the velocity of the shot from Johan Garpenlov carried the puck into the net, and the Florida Panthers are 2 minutes and 37 seconds away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you believe it?
In their 3rd year of existence and their 1st year in the playoffs, they have a 3-1 lead. No other team in its first playoff year has ever gone to the Stanley Cup Finals. This team, headed by a guy who's up for Coach of the Year, that having nothing to do with the playoffs. The votes are during the regular season. Doug McLean. And if they'd waited to the playoffs, he'd have won it.
No kidding. What a play by Bill Lindsay. He's supposed to be a checker, a defensive guy. He has scored huge goals for the Panthers and a huge setup right here. Tom Barrasso was hoping it was over the net. You saw him turn around looking up. He wasn't up. It was down and in.
You saw the big breath Tom Barrasso took as he looked behind him. There's a goal that's gone in on a blue line shot that waffle balled in on him. Then another one where he looked like he had it. Went over his shoulder right on the goal line and over it.
He's trying to get the signal straight now between Eddie Johnson, the bench, and himself. When is he going to come out? When are they going to pull him? 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
A 3-1 lead for the Florida Panthers. The Rat Pack has done an incredible job here. But this club is indeed for real. Their coach Doug McLean said this morning, all the players on other teams know we're for real and say so publicly and privately. It's just that the press can't believe a team in its 3rd year should be where we are. So we don't get credit.
We made the mistake of underrating them. That is all. They are a quality hockey team with quality people. And it took time for everybody to realize that. And the biggest man in the lineup has been John Van Beesbroek. But it doesn't matter if you're the Florida Panthers or the Pittsburgh Penguins. It doesn't matter. You don't get to the finals without the caliber of goaltending that John Van Beesbroek has provided.
Now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've got to put on 2 minutes of fury here to try and tie this game up. It'll be sent deeper into the zone. Zubov going back to get it. Jágr stays out there. Jágr, Nedved, and Lemieux, the forwards. Zubov bringing it up. Zubov to Jágr. Rolls slowly behind the net. Sveila's there up to the point. Tamer couldn't kick it in. Barrasso again will come out. 1:44 left to go. 3rd period. Knocked away by Tamer. This is just the 86th Game 7 since 1939 when the playoff went to the 7-game format in the National Hockey League. Only the second this year. Rolls in front. Murphy the shot. Barrasso the save. Zubov chipped it out of the zone. Barrasso's heading to the bench. There'll be no ice. Brett Warner to get it. Barrasso is at the bench. Extra skater up. Ronov will send it hard around. Kevin Miller's the extra skater over there. Smolinski in the corner. Murphy trying to jam it out. Sandstrom held it in. Rolls wide on the centering pass at the side of the net. Down to a minute 3. Left to go. Ronov shot. Deflected up in the air. Smolinski behind the net. Back on the far side. 1 minute left to go. The Panthers trying to write this incredible story. Less than a minute here, and they will have done it. Knocked away. Moronov's got his wait for his teammates to clear. Yager, Lemieux are not out there. Van Beesbroek will cover and hang on, stopping the clock at 43.3 left.
Underneath the pileup is Brett Warner. He looks like he's shaken up. Dave Roach is standing over him. A chance for everybody to rest.
With a 3-1 lead for the Panthers in 43.3 seconds. It's going to be the Avalanche after the Cup versus the Florida Panthers. We will have our coverage on ESPN with our Quest for the Cup pregame show Thursday at 7:30. We pick up Game 2. The Wales Trophy will be awarded to the winner of this game, symbolic of the Eastern Conference Championship. And they, and he in particular, the captain, can't wait. They need some more time.
Could anybody with any kind of crystal ball a few years ago have predicted that the states of Colorado and the states of Florida would be vying for the Stanley Cup in the finals? It is about to happen 43.3 seconds from now, unless Jaromir Jagr and his teammates can just wheel a miracle out there. But miracles are real hard to pull out of your hat against the Panthers.
What a job they have done in this game. A 1 power play goal here in the 3rd period. Sandstrom trying to tip it into the middle. They'll just feather that one up the boards. Huff was there. Blocked. Zubov dumps it back the wide side. Svela coming over to get it. Robert Svela flips that one out. You're looking at the time remaining. Huff. Fitzgerald. Garfinlund have the goal. The only one Nedved picked up by Pittsburgh. The game winner right now would be Tom Fitzgerald if this score stays 3-1 and only 16.9 seconds left.
A terrific playoff year for Peter Nedved. We will say goodbye to him with fond memories of the great playoff year he put together, because when Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr were shut down at different times, he worked as hard as any guy could work to try to pick up the slack, and against most of the teams in the playoffs, he was able to do that. Not against the Florida Panthers.
Zubov met the expectations Pittsburgh had for him when he came here. Still probably doesn't shoot enough, but he may never do that for Eddie Johnston, but he has played magnificently and a lot of minutes logged for Zubov.
Ronnie Francis, top left, never got a chance to get into this series. Was injured against the New York Rangers and knew he would be out for the remainder of the year. The big question about Mario Lemieux on the right. Is this our last look at Mario in a Penguins uniform, in any hockey uniform?
There's Kenny Reigert. He rose to be a Cinderella story in his own right after Barrasso got hurt. Played so well, Tom Barrasso couldn't get back in. Still has great numbers, as we told you, in this playoff year, but Barrasso was their money netminder, they felt, so he got the job back.
I don't know how Tom Barrasso is going to win when his team only gets 1 goal for him. You can say what you want about the flutter ball from the blue line, but when you've only got 1 goal to work with, boy, it's a little edge that you're standing on.
Well, Jaromir Jagr said before the playoffs started this season, he says, and he said, I really hate the playoffs because it is so hard to play offensive hockey. It's so much more fun during the regular season. Well, boy, have the Panthers ever made that a truism here in this series. As they've held this team down, it'll be just about 2.3 goals a game in this series. Centering pass in front, shot deflected. Backhander, Van Beesbroek on Jagr, knocked it away. On the far side, Zubov holding it in. Countdown underway in Florida. Celebrate your team season. They are of course, symbolic of hockey's great tradition at the end of a series. This team never dreamed this would happen to them, and you can apply that to either team, I think.
I think you're right, Gary. The Pittsburgh Penguins perhaps were stunned at the 4-game point or the 5-game point of this series as to just how strong the Florida Panthers really are. But by this time in the series, you know that Tom Barrasso and his teammates knew that it was the 50-50 coin toss coming into a 7th game against an underdog team, and that they did not have an advantage here. For all the rat throwers in Florida, you guys are awesome. We're looking forward to seeing you down there.
40-28, the shots in favor of the Pens. But the Panthers get the 3-1 lead for Jaromir Jagr and the Pens. Their season, a very successful one, finishing 2nd in the East and 4th overall, is over. For Florida, finishing 4th in the East and 7th overall, their season will continue.
Yep, what has to be said is that the Penguins were really an upset even to get to the conference finals. I did not even give them a chance, and nor did anybody else that I spoke to, because they were not supposed to be good enough defensively. Who would have thought it became their inability to score goals that was their undoing against the Florida Panthers?
Eddie Johnston clearly respecting this team, and Doug McLean, who honestly believed. I mean, and he has to say those things as a coach, but if you were around him this year, you came to believe, he came to believe, that this team was going to go somewhere. This far, no. I mean, I remember halfway through the season, he says, you know, we can't keep playing this way continually. But they did.
They did.
And now they're going to the finals. The presentation, the PA announcer, John Barbaro.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present the Conference Championship Trophy, please welcome NHL Senior Vice President Jeff Pash. And accepting the trophy is Captain Brian Skrudland.
Go get it, Brian.
Come on, somebody's got to come get this. It's yours.
They can take their time just sharing emotions. It'll wait for them.
Joe Sakic had the honors for the Avalanche. Skrudland, Mellenby, Gord Murphy.
Typical, polite, refined Brian Skrudland. Believe it or not, that's the way he is underneath all of that scar tissue. He looked at Jeffrey Pash, the NHL, and said, can I pick it up? May I pick it up, please?
Skrudland, a cup winner in Montreal in 1986. The other members of the Panthers team coming over. You do not skate any cup except the one. You raise this one above. That's as far as it goes. Yes, a hat trick so far. 3 series.
And I think the question that I had has been answered. Is this an upset? Is this a Cinderella team? Yeah, I think that's part of it. But now I know. This is the most underrated team I have ever seen in the history of the NHL, the Florida Panthers. Flat out underrated.
Wayne Huizinga, their owner out there. They beat number 5 seed Boston, number 1 Philly in the East, and number 2 Pittsburgh. 1, 2, 5 were the teams they had to beat to get to the Stanley Cup Finals.
And that is the only consolation for the Bruins and the Flyers. And that is that the Penguins with Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux couldn't do the job against the Panthers either.
Brian Engblom.
Thanks very much, Gary. You know, John, a couple of weeks ago, you and I stood in a similar situation down in Miami talking about the victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. Now it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is this one any sweeter?
I can't even explain it. It's so sweet. I think that to everybody back home, you know, thanks for your support. And what can I say? We're off to the dance.
Have you ever played as well as you have now for such an extended period of time in your entire career?
Well, I mean, hopefully that extended period of time keeps going, so I can't answer that question fairly, but I played well.
After Pittsburgh tied it up at 1-1, was it a little tough to breathe out there?
And they had some chances, and I had to push my heart back down, you know, because it was up there in my throat. But we kept our composure. We tried to get a couple icings, slow things down, but the fans were so loud and everything, but we got it done. I don't know how, but we got it done.
You sure did. Congratulations. Good luck in the finals, John. Well, John Van Beesbroek is going west to Denver and not home to Miami, guys.
Our first star tonight, John Van Beesbrook. Tom Fitzgerald, the game-winning goal. Our second star, and Garpenlove, a great game. Our third star. We will be right back.
Go crazy. One time. The celebration begins. When there's pandemonium, you're going crazy. This place is bedlam. Come on, baby. All right, win. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Joey Sakic done it again.
That's a winner! Let's go! It's so crazy!
Cup crazy! An effervescent rat pack, a melancholy Pittsburgh team. We go to the finals, Bill Clement.
The Mission Impossible Panthers have defeated the prolific Penguins. Believe it or not, Doug McLean, the coach of the Panthers, still in his first year as a head coach in the NHL, just answers questions about winning.
John Van Beesbrook, a .938 save percentage to lead this team to this win. Our final 3-1. Florida beats Pittsburgh in Game 7. They go to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Avalanche. Our National Hockey Night coverage will begin Game 2 from Denver, McNichols Arena. That'll be at 7:30 on Thursday, with our pregame show, Quest for the Cup, beginning at 7:30. For Brian Engblom, Darren Pang, Bill Clement, all of our crew, congratulations to Wayne Huizenga and company. They've wanted baseball tonight. Carl Ravitch.
Glad you're with us. Along with Larry Beal, I'm Linda Cohn.
Yes, welcome to SportsCenter. Ahead on the show, a birthday to savor for a Florida Gator. And what is on Gary Payton's mind with Game 7 just a day away? And speaking of Game 7.
A Game 7 on ice. There is no better event in any sport than a Game 7. The Penguins and Panthers spent their Saturday night playing in one, with the winner moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals against Colorado. Ask Pittsburgh's slumping sniper Jaromir Jagr about Game 7s. He'll tell you he hates them. In Jagr's words, you can either be a hero or a zero. To the igloo we go, where these men were in the spotlight, the goaltenders, Barrasso and Van Beesbrook. First period, an early chance for Mario Lemieux on the break. Here comes Mario, waiting for him is Beezer, and how many times have we seen that? And then Jaromir, his backhand, there's Beezer. Great positioning as usual. Panthers with a chance. LaRue would fall. That would set up a 2-on-1 by Florida. Mike Huff to Robert Sfeil, a great pass back to Huff, and that's a gorgeous goal. It was 1-0 Florida. The big first goal for Florida has Mario concerned. Lemieux hounded all night. He's been complaining that he hasn't had any room to do anything all series. Murphy and Karkner making it hard, and then Karkner gets away with a trip. Lemieux didn't get a lot of help either. Perfect pass here to Sandstrom. He misses the net. Second period, another good chance. Dave Roach right in front. Two chances on John Van Beesbrook, and he's stoned. Eddie Johnson wondering, what do we got to do to beat this guy? Third period, Penguins do get on the board. Lemieux to Nedved. That's a goal. We're tied at 1. Penguins were not a confident team until that goal. Then Florida would get a break. Tom Fitzgerald lets one fly from the blue line. How does that go in the net? A bad goal. Beating Tom Barrasso 2-1 Florida. Could the Penguins come back? Jagr to Lemieux in front. Lemieux pressing. Mario fans. Then Mario were frustrated. He and Brian Skrudlin get into it. A lot of punches, but no goals for Mr. Lemieux. Still 2-1. Bill Lindsay. Garpenlove off Barrasso's stick and in the net. That clinched it for the Florida Panthers. Barrasso can't believe this has happened. And the Panthers are one excited expansion franchise in just their third year. They are heading to the Stanley Cup Finals. 3-1, your final. They are only the 14th NHL team to win a series after trailing 3-2. Wondering how good was Beezer? 40 saves for him. Pittsburgh, the problems for them, the power play. They were just 4 for 32 with the extra man. Oh, as for Lemieux and Jagr, only 1 goal apiece in this series. After the game, we found plenty of happy Panthers.
We're all elated right now, and you know, I don't know, there's probably not enough words to describe the way every one of us feels, but I think the smile probably tells exactly what happened.
It's been a long time coming, I'll tell you that right now. To get where we are for a third-year team, you just can't say enough about Mr. Huizenga, Mr. Torrey, Mr. Murray, the coaching staff, all the players.
There's nothing like this. This is fantastic. These guys are the greatest. They're
Now, the Florida Panthers tied the Milwaukee Bucks as the second quickest expansion franchise to reach the final in its respective sport. The 68 St. Louis Blues made it to the Cup Finals in their first season, but saw their dream end by being swept by the Canadiens in the final. The Panthers, of course, hoping for another result. Game 1 against Colorado Tuesday night. We'll have more on this great event later in the show. At the top of the show, we showed you the vision from Florida's 3-1 stunning victory over the Penguins in Pittsburgh in Game 7. To move on to the Stanley Cup Finals does Florida. Now the coach that's more popular right now than Don Shula, Jimmy Johnson, and Pat Riley put together, the Panthers' Doug McClain, couldn't say enough about his man between the pipes, the Beezer.
Obviously, you go to Johnny right away and what he did. He gave us a chance every night, and I guess that's the bottom line.
It was one of the things when we joined together 3 years ago that we wanted to, we wanted to establish help establish a franchise there and help kind of establish some great memories and get things rolling, get things off on the right foot, and to get it going this quickly in 3 years, it's a real credit to everybody from Mr. Huizenga to Mr. Torrey and Brian Murray and everybody that's been involved in the organization.
So here's a no-brainer. John Van Beesbroek is your MVP of this series. You know, he had reason to be concerned entering this event. In 6 career playoff games against the Penguins, Beezer was 0-5 with a dismal 3.46 goals against average. But what a turnaround. He allows a stingy 2.15 goals per game, and most importantly, he gets to keep playing. And for the first time in his career, he's playing for the Stanley Cup. Later, we break it all down.